Okay, we're back, guys. How are you guys doing? Again, sorry. We took a little break because me and Josh decided we're going to hop on tonight, do a little news and events, you know what I mean? What's it called? Let me go and pull Josh in here. There we go. Oh, wait, I messed something up, Josh. Give me 2 seconds. I apologize. It's all my fault. Let me see.
Do your thing.
There we go. There we go. Anyway, so obviously Josh is back with us. We're going to do a little, like I said, just news and events and all that kind of good stuff. So let's see here. So we're going to start today with Graham Plattner, some sort of kind of new stuff that's happened with this case. I mean, obviously, if you've been following any of it, it's been not great for Mr. Plattner.
Pretty disappointing, I'd say.
It really is. I mean, even the lady
as somebody who's advocated for him on this show, it's unfortunate.
Well, it's even the lady who accused him of what she's accused him of even said like she was not really wanting to come forward because she felt bad, because she was like, I agree with him on his stances in politics. She had reservations about coming and bringing him down, basically, because she was like, hey, I don't know, I sort of kind of agree with him. So, you know, she had that moral wrestle that she had to do.
Look, if more truth comes out, you know, it's one of those where it's like, you don't have to like it, but the more truth that's out there, the better. And, you know, just because it's inconvenient, we shouldn't avoid it.
Light and truth is a good disinfectant. You know what I mean? So.
And it is.
Anyway, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that first, and then we're going to hop into some stuff on Section 224, and then we're going to hop into some trial stuff today for, well, recap sort of kind of the last 3 days of the trial with Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk. So let's go ahead and hop in here to this bad boy here.
Let's fucking do it.
Let's do this. I'm going to pull this apart a little bit. I had to switch this up, like I said yesterday, with Caleb being on here, so I had to just we're doing things on the fly here, guys. Let me see here. Horizontal. All right, cool. So this is obviously Ryan Grimm, Drop Site News. Supposedly today he has an exclusive on Plattner, assault story, left key details out. Me and Josh sort of kind of got into this a little bit. It's not really like there's that much information, but it is informative information if you're going to be a voter, which is, I think, the more important part, that like some of this information was out prior to his election and there just wasn't any sunlight on it. You know what I mean? For people to make a educated vote, if that makes sense. But they get into that a little bit. So we'll any thoughts before we get started?
No, not really.
Yeah, cool.
I think like I said, I think it's kind of one of those where
it's bad. It is
kind of speaks for itself. A lot of it.
It's not good. It's not great. So all right, well, we'll hop in.
I saw a little clip of the interview.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I saw a clip of the interview with the victim, and I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's not great.
Anyway, let's get to it.
And I'm gonna hop in at 1.25 speed, just because this is a little bit of a long interview or long segment, but we'll you know.
Yeah.
And omitted a key detail from its reporting around the Graham Plattner sexual assault allegations we have learned. Let's take a listen to how Jenny Rassicott, the accuser of Graham Plattner, described how the evening began in her interview with Jake Tapper on CNN.
It was a night where him and I were texting back and forth, and he had taken something that I said as an invitation, and that's not how I meant it, and I quickly clarified. And he sent a message back indicating that he would come over, and I said, no, don't come over. Like, I'm not in the mood, don't come over. And I was more stern with that message. And then I didn't hear back from him, so I thought that meant he got the message or gave up on it or whatnot.
Okay, Sagar, so there was no follow-up from Jake Tapper. Mm-hmm. If you listen closely there, that she said, we were texting back and forth, and he took something that I said as an invitation to come over. This is they'd been dating off and on for about 2 years at this point. The follow-up from a normal person at that point is,
what did you say?
What'd you say?
Right.
Like, what was the thing that you said to him that he misunderstood? Now let's take a look at how Politico reported this. This is D8. This is how Politico first reported it. So Rasico told Politico she connected with Plattner on the dating app Bumble in 2019 and had consensual relations with him prior to the night he allegedly assaulted her. That night in late 2021, she said she had exchanged text messages with him and told him not to come over, saying she wasn't in the mood for company. Later that evening, she said she realized when she heard a sound on the stairs that he had let himself into her house, which was unlocked. Plattner came up the stairs, Rasico said, to where she was on a couch. He got on top of her and kept grabbing her, she said, while she repeatedly told him to stop and that she wasn't interested.
I mean that's pretty damning. Listen, I will say the one thing I do have that's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit odd about this is just that and I'm not trying to victim blame at all, but I'm saying if it's real, the statute of limitations are not up yet. So you could easily charge him with an actual rape and assault and sexual assault case. So I mean, I guess maybe there's a judgment that she's making there that maybe it's not necessary that she needs to do that. I don't know their relationship. I don't know what, you know what I mean? I have no knowledge, but if it is seriously a real thing that she's coming to the news with and doing this whole hit piece about, why wouldn't you then take the next step of reporting it to, you know what
I mean? Yeah, I mean, so kind of talking about this a little more broadly, I think it's kind of, and by the way, some of the first
sort of
questions
kind
people
of
ask,
regardless of whether or not he did it or not, I think this still is toxic as a politician. So you
from a
strategy, you know what I mean? Just like regardless, it doesn't really matter.
In terms of electoralism, yeah, I mean it's poison to any kind of political campaign. But I mean, there's the reflexive. I think the reflexive desire to kind of, I don't want to say pick apart, but try to be like, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that? If it's such a big deal, why this and why that? And we saw kind of a lot of that, I think. I would like to hope that, like, during the Me Too movement, in its prime or whatever, we kind of got
rid of that.
Some of those. Well, I mean, you're never going to get rid of it, right? Because at the end of the day, it is your reaction to things like this is always going to come down to your proximity and your preference towards individuals. So, like, if you know somebody, like, if you hear this story in a vacuum, there's not going to be a whole lot of questioning you're going to do. But if it involves a friend of yours,
then you might have some questions. You're
probably going to play a little bit of defense. Yeah. And if it is a candidate for office that you are supporting, I have no doubt that there are people, and I know that there are people, I saw them online, that were, beginning, I've seen the, like, oh, this is really convenient timing, and APAC there's that sort of stuff, right?
To be fair, that is a little bit my position. Not necessarily that I don't think in any way that this is fake, and I think so far it's been corroborated. I mean, everything that she said.
It's been. That was kind of the point. That was the bullet for me. How corroborated all of this was. I
have no problem.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's.
Although to be fair, they do address here in a couple minutes though that it isn't technically corroborated with her therapist, which is one of the things that I thought pushed it over the edge of veracity to me. Meaning, like, I think it was more verified because she said that she had talked to her psychiatrist about it or therapist about it. But. There is a little bit of like they sort of kind of hit on it in here. So maybe we'll just continue a little bit. But I just have a little bit of a reservation when things come in almost too good of a timing. Because like it could have easily been
yeah.
that this could have actually like if there, but to be fair, I'm going to be my own devil's advocate. If they really didn't want him elected or whatever, then this would have come out before his primary.
I mean, it's
so
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
you,
so,
as a candidate, you should know. As a candidate, you should know your what's it called? You should know your own oppo research. You should know what the opposition can pull up to indict you. Like that's I think there's you know, and they did not clearly they did not do a good enough job, or at the very least, like they thought that this wouldn't
be swept
be as
under
big
the
of a
rug or
deal as
something.
it ended up being. Like whatever it ends up being, you know, it's like that's
Doesn't
just where
really
it is.
matter.
But
yeah.
I mean, like the it's always, we always have to ask ourselves, especially in situations around electoral politics, is we have to understand that two things can be true at the same time.
Exactly.
It can be coordinated,
and
it probably is.
But it also is true.
That doesn't
probably.
make it untrue.
It
doesn't make it untrue, and it doesn't make it
less damning.
It doesn't mean that
nothing is less damning just because it came out now versus 2 months ago. So no, you're right.
Yeah, like would it have been
agree with all
convenient
that.
2 months ago? Maybe, but also there wouldn't have been like energy around
that's probably
his
true
kind
too.
of campaign.
So
I mean, you know, it's just
you take your wins for your losses in that way a little bit. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, like it just
it's on him.
Yeah, it's on him.
I mean, it's on him for not knowing and not speaking up about this, and not.
Well, at the end of the day, it's on him for doing it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's on him for doing it. So that's
I mean, from like a campaign perspective, it's like Graham Plattner as a individual citizen, I'm like, you know, you do what you got to do. You know, you know, there. I think it's said in the interview or whatever that they, after that incident, they lost contact. Or they, you know, like she didn't talk to him again, whatever. And I'm like, look, there's a world where, you know, he just thinks, you know, I think like a lot of people like, wow, you know, that was fucked up, whatever, gonna move on, live my life, try to be better. All the stuff that I think was part of his campaign. But it's like, motherfucker, you are running for office. You
can't be
having
forthcoming with that. You can't be having them kind of skeletons in your closet. You know what I mean? And especially because of all the things that people have gone to Matt for him for at this point when it comes to like the tattoo.
Oh, absolutely.
The other things. Like it's like if this is the like if you know you're already sort of kind of running people's patience thin with having to go to the mat for you, then something like this comes up, it's like it's political suicide at that point. You know what I mean? Like
there's only so much. There's only so much people can defend, and there's only so much people can rationalize and make arguments around. But
all right, well, we can keep going.
So Sagar, you read that, and most people in Washington who read that, they're like, that sounds like he broke in to the house, like uninvited, and then began a violent assault of her. Nowhere does Politico.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if I was in the room with Ryan, I'd be like, they said the door was unlocked. I didn't get that sense when I read it.
That's fair.
He broke in because they already stipulated that the door was unlocked. He just let him. I think they might say he let himself in.
Yeah.
Which it's like, if the door is unlocked.
But that doesn't change anything that happens after he walks through the door.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's
so it's like, hey, we can have semantic arguments of whether or not he broke in versus walked in, but at the end of the day, the end result is the same, right? So what are we talking about? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
What she mentioned to CNN there, that she had said something in the text message exchanges that he mistook as an invitation. They just say, and elsewhere in the article, they say he was, quote, uninvited. It turns out, and we have learned, that Politico definitively, at the time of publication, knew precisely what Jenny had texted to Graham that he, according to her, mistook as an invitation to come over. And we know this because the Washington Post also interviewed Jenny Rassicut. And Jenny told the Washington Post, because she's being honest. She's laying out all of the details, which is how it should be. You lay out all the details, and then you let the readers, the public, the voters say, okay, here, we have all the different facts. Here's how we interpret this scenario. So good for her for being transparent.
I totally agree with you, and I want to say that up at the top. This is in no way an attack on her. This is about how I believe that the media has handled this story.
She was transparent
truthful from the beginning
about this. She doesn't. She doesn't have the text messages anymore. Plattner apparently doesn't have the text messages anymore, so we're going by her memory of what they are. And to her credit, she divulged the details of the text messages from that evening, and to the she divulged it to the Washington Post. The Washington Post reaches out to the Plattner campaign for comment, good for the Washington Post, and in their request for comment, they mention that Jenny had been texting him talking about a massage earlier. And so the Plattner campaign sees this, and they go back to Politico, and they say, apparently there's some more context here about like the back and forth. Like, do you know about these text messages? The reporter then exchanges messages with the Plattner campaign. Those messages have been now circulating in Maine politics, in Maine political circles. I obtained a copy of those. I was able to authenticate them with sources with knowledge of them. And here is what the Politico reporter said to the campaign. Jenny Rascott had been, quote, texting Plattner about needing her glute massaged. That detail didn't make our story.
Right.
Glute massage. So within about a half an hour of getting this glute massage text, Plattner is in the house. Now, she says
she followed up.
No, don't come.
And don't come.
Because he texted back. So he's wasted, clearly. He gets this message. I need my glute massaged.
Right.
He comes over. He's texts back, I'm coming over. And she's like, wait, don't come over. She says, don't come over, don't come over. This is Maine. He's not taking the subway. Like, so he's drunkenly driving over there.
Yes.
Comes into the house, and then it gives, and then she says he's grabbing her on the couch. Well, where's
She's saying no.
Right. Where's he grabbing her? Like, is he like immediately starting like the glute massage or whatever?
Right.
Anyway, with the Washington Post, to its
pause
credit.
real quick.
So, well, really, that's the whole. To be honest with you, that's like the whole video. But like, I don't even know if that really is relevant in the sense that like, again,
yeah. I mean, look, I understand what Ryan is doing, and it is, and I've said it, I think before to you, where we think that more details are gonna make things more clear, and sometimes they do, but sometimes the more details you get, just the harder it does to make a flat decision on what happened, because it obscures the.
But we also just made the conversation
the
earlier that like the more light on a subject, the better. So like, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying that it can muddy the waters having too much information. That's probably accurate, especially when it comes to like.
There's too many data points. You end up your brain forces you to try to connect them.
No, and I understand that. That makes sense. But at the same time, like I said, this does not change by any means my, I think, assumption of anything, really. Like, this doesn't change anything for me. You know what I mean? Like, he's still basically a piece of shit now. You know what I mean? Like, it's... Once we've had to be like, hey man, no, his Nazi tattoo he didn't mean it, and then there's also the others. It's like at this point, you know, it just I feel like it is sort of kind of a mute point to even bring this kind of thing. Like I do appreciate the need, like as a reporter,
it's just
being
it's
like,
not
hey,
relevant.
I need
it's
to
not,
bring it up, but it's not necessary.
It's just not relevant. It's just like nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if he never saw the "don't come over" text, right?
Yeah.
Like that changes the story
by about like a ninth of a degree. Like a ninth of a degree.
Yeah, I
like
mean, it's
nothing.
just it's not meaningful.
Like
it's
because at the end of the day, once you're in the house,
scraping down the edges.
Then once the actions
what did
start
you do
to
when
take
you were
place,
in the house?
You know what I mean? Once
it's like what did you do when you were in the house? That comes down to like the
100%.
The fundamental, like,
and that is
like,
really
I don't care how you got in the house, or why you got in the house, but you got in there and you did what you did.
Yeah.
And like something I kind of stress, and to anybody who I think anybody who needs to hear this, you know, because I don't know if you want to continue with this, but I think
go ahead.
We're pretty good, but you know, I mean, what is more important now in this moment, and I'm glad Graham Plattner has dropped out.
He has officially.
He has. Yes, he has suspended his campaign.
I didn't hear that yet, so that's okay.
Yeah, I believe it happened earlier today. But something like kind of here's the hard to swallow pill. which is like there are people who have spent months volunteering and working their ass off to build up the momentum and to push this movement. What was the movement? It was not vote for Graham Plattner, guy with a Nazi tattoo that he didn't know about.
Yeah.
He was in the military at the time and was kind of a chud.
It was
never
pushing
the
the
campaign.
DSA agenda and trying to like actually create a movement that is not a person but an actual.
And I don't know if he was.
Movement.
I actually don't know if he was endorsed by DSA. I need to double check. He might have been, but
I don't think
his
so.
campaign wasn't about that.
He doesn't seem like he
Graham
was-
Plattner's
yeah.
campaign. Graham Plattner's campaign was about, I think, two things. One on the policy side, one on like the, I think, cultural, maybe political side, which is the political side is, and the actual policy side is our over expenditure on the military and our irresponsibility with our place in the world and our irresponsibility with other Americans' lives, along with a focus on working class Americans, on working class politics, on
He really
getting
was a very
out
good.
of-
He was a really good conduit, like a lightning rod for the America First movement on the left. Like they don't call it the same movement, but it's the same principles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the left movement isn't America first; it's humans first. That's like the big difference. Is
Maybe, yeah.
I'm like the
But
left movement
even
isn't primarily
even what
concerned
you
with,
just
like,
said was
America.
focusing more on American citizens. Like you just said that.
Well, yeah,
in your
I mean focusing on the
description.
people you govern over. Yeah,
Which
but I would
is
advocate for all those
Americans.
things in any country. Yeah, yeah, but it's
I
incidental.
agree
to
with
the,
you.
it's
I'm
incidental
just-
to the politics.
Fair enough.
It has nothing to do with America for Americans. It has everything to do with the creation of as egalitarian of a society as we possibly can right now.
That's fair.
Like I don't care. I'm not somebody who thinks Medicare for all means only for Americans. If you step foot in this country, you should get, like, if we had that system, I would still want like people who step in this country for a vacation to have access to that. It should just be, are you within the American borders? Then you will not needlessly die or be put into insurmountable debt. But point being, nobody got on his campaign to defend Graham Plattner as an individual and as a personality, I guess.
Yeah.
What they saw reflected back in him was a class conscious, working class forward movement. And I want people to not
Give up on that.
despair and
Yeah.
not feel like that is not a worthy project.
I agree.
People will disappoint us, and unfortunately, here's the other hard part: we have standards on our side. Like the difference between the nominally left and the right, as an example. I'm going to use the MAGA movement. So much as we can call it a movement. I've made the argument before, but so much as the difference between the left and MAGA is the left has standards, and we need to hold to those standards. We cannot. What MAGA does best is make the sacrifices necessary to attain power. But what they do when they do that is they run over people, and they let groups of their coalition fall to the wayside or be completely ignored. And as a movement, as I mentioned earlier, that is based around creating as egalitarian of a system, of a society, I should say, as we can, we need to ensure that we do not sacrifice women, LGBT folks, minorities, immigrants, all of these groups in the pursuit of a better world. The better world is for them as much as it is for us. And we use power to make that. We do not chase power as a strict goal. So I mean that's like the real difference. And like from I said not socio-political. I said like kind of more of a cultural lens to it in terms of his campaign. His campaign, and let's be honest here a little bit. What is the right wing's complaint all the time of the left. It's that everyone is like too woke, but more specifically, it's like too judgmental, and that standards are, and that we are not, and that the left movement is not accepting of imperfection. And I think this has been an exercise, and a good exercise, in understanding where those boundaries are, and proving that the left movement in this country, the socialists and sometimes socialist leaning movement in this country, is absolutely accepting of imperfect candidates.
Yeah, I can get down with that. That is
there is a line. There's a line.
Yeah. That's true. It is one of the first times that we've seen it in not the same way as it has been before, where it's sort of kind of this like just straight up cultural war, sort of kind of moral thing that's going on. It's more like, hey, no, this is a red line for us. Like, this is like a thing that, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate too the whole thought about just just the fact that it is one of those things that you have to sort of kind of look at as a holistic point of view, and you can't let go of your ideals just because one of your leaders sort of kind of gets a little bit, it doesn't, the leader doesn't matter. It should be the movement that matters in that sense. So I agree with that. All right, well, let's hop on to section 224. Let's start with this one. Let's see here.
Can you want to give a little bit of background for not just me, but maybe the folks at home?
So
I mean, I looked it up a little bit, obviously. But I'm speaking for the audience here. You're welcome, guys.
So section 224.
Just so we kind of have an understanding.
Section 224 is a stipulation under the National Defense Administration Act, which basically links the United States military as well as the Israeli military at the highest levels of security as well as data sharing. So they will no longer, as well as also funding. So anything that has to do with funding, all the funding that we supposedly give to all these military industrial complexes and things like that, the multi-billions of dollars that we spend as Americans on our defense will now also be attributed to the defense of Israel. And they will be able to be in control of their own section, basically, of the world using our tax dollars without government oversight. And I have heard some of the counter argument to this is that if we merge the militaries, then that means they have to be under the same purview of our military, which means we actually have more insight into their military. Which maybe is fairly an okay.
Some they probably don't want. That's probably something they're trying to dodge.
Exactly, but the other thing about that is I don't even know if they'd try and dodge it, because I think if this happens, they would feel as though they own the government and they wouldn't have to hide anything. Or even if they did, they would just put it into black budgets the same way that we do for any kind of other black operation. You know what I mean? It would no longer have to be hidden away in separate accounts and in trade deals and in other things like that. It could just be separated off into a Pentagon fund that we don't have access to, which is really the disturbing thing about it. And I've been watching this for a couple weeks, sort of kind of ever since it was introduced into the NDAA, basically just because I didn't believe that, honestly, it would get voted through. But as I've started thinking about it, I was watching somebody talk about it the other day, and they were basically like, look, man, they're not gonna vote for or against this section of the bill. What they're gonna do is they're gonna say that because it's an omnibus bill, it's not an individual bill that addresses an individual concern.
Oh, are they rolling it into?
Yeah, they're rolling it into another thing. which means that basically your senator or whoever it is that's representing you is going to be able to say like, well, I'm doing this for my constituents. Yes, there is this downfall in this other area, but what would my citizens tell me if I didn't do this thing for them for their water or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
classical,
classical tactics. It's bullshit. But this is, I'll just show it to you guys. This is sort of kind of the general gist of this.
You guys are. Anybody who supports this, anybody's trying to gaslight us.
The word, we shall see. But we, as the American people, are facing maybe the most important fight in the history of the United States of America. It is the fight to save this nation. It is the fight to keep our country's sovereignty, and it is up to us to do it. It all started last month when Benjamin Netanyahu told CBS that he wants to wean Israel off of U.S. military support, saying, quote, I want to draw down to zero the American financial support, the financial component of the military cooperation that we have. Well, it turns out, surprise, surprise, as usual, when a Zionist is moving their lips, they are lying to you. This is an official letter written from the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to a member of Congress, Congressman Marlon Stutzman of Indiana, saying, quote, I was glad to receive your proposed congressional resolution endorsing my plan to shift the framework for U.S.-Israel defense cooperation from aid to partnership. That's right, it's not foreign aid anymore if we are now the same country, basically. As I said in our meeting in Jerusalem on May 27, 2026, Israel deeply appreciates the financial component of the military aid the United States has generously provided us over the years. The time has now arrived for us to move from aid recipient to partner. A partner who, by the way, bribes, threatens, and blackmails our politicians and business leaders if they don't do what you tell them to do. Allegedly. I am heartened by your enthusiastic support for our plan to develop a new memorandum of understanding with the United States government that will draw down U.S. financial military assistance over the next decade and replace it with what you refer to as a new framework of joint defense cooperation, co-development, co-production, and mutual investment in areas including advanced missile defense, artificial intelligence, unmanned systems, cybersecurity, and next-generation military platforms. I also appreciate your commitment to fighting the scourge of anti-Semitism in the United States and around the world. Warmest regards, signed, Benjamin Netanyahu. I've said it.
So that is the letter that was sent to a U.S. congressman who introduced Section 224 into the NDAA. So it is the amount of corruption is crazy, and the fact that they're going to do that is bad. But then I wanted to get, so this is an economic researcher and everything, and this is Mario Narwhal, and this is his interpretation of all this.
It really shook a lot of people.
Yeah, I would agree, and sort of that was my local bookend to last Wednesday. I was down in Washington, D.C. at a Feds for Freedom conference, and this is being led by a bunch of federal workers who really, they started, well, they got like really canned for their refusal to take the COVID jab, right? And so it was Feds for Medical Freedom, but they found out they have it's a bigger issue than that. And so they were really talking about, I mean, this was Jim Erdman invited me down. He's the CIA whistleblower who's been, in front of like Rand Paul. Anyway, but these are really great people, very dedicated. It was really heartwarming to see people that were like this solid, full of integrity. Joe Kent was there. And they're just very worried about the direction of the country. They were, I consider myself red pilled, black pilled, depending on the topic. They were pretty concerned that there wasn't an easy fix here.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to get that feeling as well. The idea, I think I said yesterday, so following things.
Because he goes into...
It's an attractive idea, because I think a lot of people, myself included, feel politically homeless. To your first point, it doesn't seem to manage to get the vaccine when they didn't want terrorists and known spies. So that's in their files now. They were treated in the same category as terrorists and known spies.
I saw yesterday that the UK is trying to have influence over YouTube's algorithm in the UK.
No.
People would either not even realize, and the ones that realize, many other similar examples, televisions, they even to be able to, which is it's like this is the only word, the only next level elected. Yeah, based in mind.
There's that sense of inevitability to all this, right? And there's a direction to this story, and it's been going there, and it's independent of who's in power. Weirdly, under Trump, we've had a much faster progression towards what we would call that technological, dystopia. I think of it as other people think of it as a utopia, but things that never could have been done under Biden because the MAGA people never would have put up with it, but because it's Trump, it's okay. But when we're looking at the flock cameras bringing Palantir in to harmonize and merge government databases
like
and on and on and on.
Don't have positions.
I know.
It's almost like it's just
this isn't
personality
actually. I thought that this was the part that where he actually talks about the integration and everything and how bad it will actually be. Apparently it's not, but even though I think it should be, considering this is the title of it. But basically the whole thing is just that there is an integration coming if we don't basically write our politicians or whatever, of just at the highest level, so that we won't even really have control.
When is the vote? When is the vote for this one? I know the NDAA I think has to get voted. It might be a yearly must pass bill, but I might be wrong about that.
It is a yearly must pass, or not must pass.
I know it's a must pass. I don't know if it's yearly.
Let me see here.
Well, no, there is stuff that's like must pass, which I feel like the National Defense Authorization Act is usually a must pass.
That's not,
because they fight over it every goddamn year. I'm gonna grab water. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah, do your thing. I'm gonna do this. I'm also gonna see if I can real quick. I'll find something else that I thought was really funny from your boy Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon had a great. Actually, I'll look it up on here. How about this? On.
States.
We'll watch this.
This is our 250-year anniversary. We have to understand what we've built here, and we have to enjoy it and actually celebrate the parts of it that other people don't like. The negatives in our country, everyone's fat because we have the bomb food. Nobody's got food like we do. We have food where people kill them. They kill themselves with it. They kill themselves with that's how good it tastes. Yum, yum. Do you know how good our food is? Do you know how good, I had some fast food in UK. When I was in London, I had Taco Bell. I tried there at McDonald's. And you know what I said? I wouldn't kill myself with this. This isn't worth the desecration of my body, the destruction of my soul. But then you come here and you go to a Taco Bell in the suburbs. I mean the burbs. You can't do it in the city because the migrants, when they're making it, don't give a shit, by the way. And that's why I think we got to limit that. When a refugee can make a quesadilla the way a suburban Hispanic can, then we'll talk. But you go to a Taco Bell in the...
What am I looking at? Talking about Taco Bell?
This is just, it's just Tim Dillon being Tim Dillon. This is, so for his 250th anniversary, whatever thing, he just starts going off about basically the inadequacies of America and just all of the horrible things about America, and it's just, it feels good. It feels good. No, we won't get into that right now. All right, but we'll skip past some of this because I couldn't find the NDAA when it's actually supposed to be voted on, because they keep kicking it down the road. So yes, it's supposed to be voted on here in a week and a half or whatever, but everybody keeps saying that that's not possible. You know what I mean? So it's
I mean it's gonna get kicked down for probably another month or two. My guess it'll probably pass right at the end of the year, because as long as it passes before the next fiscal year, I don't think it matters too much.
So hopefully it gets kicked out, but I mean, who knows?
I mean, what's it called? They have to do there's there's the whole amendment process and everything else.
Yeah, they've already started amending it. Thomas Massey tried to amend that this wouldn't this part be taken out of the NDAA.
Yeah,
and that got shot down.
I can imagine.
Which is why there is a part, not in apparently the part that they said was about the 224, but there is a part in that interview with Mario Narwhal and that guy that where they talk about how it's just gonna keep getting pushed through. Basically, it's that yes, there is some hope that maybe somebody somehow is able to get rid of it, but that's sort of kind of the thing is hopefully, maybe, it's and that's very disheartening. It shouldn't be a hopefully. It should be a pretty fucking upright, hey, merging the militaries with a secondary government is not You know, that's treason, in my opinion. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, to my knowledge, it's more they just become what's it called, that we just start sharing more information and more integrate more of them. I wouldn't say it's merging militaries necessarily, but
well,
you
it's
know,
pretty.
I mean,
It's
tomato
potato at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, also, I just can't help but think like because here's the thing: you would have to think that like our militaries aren't already kind of in that state. Also, like I wouldn't say I think that there's enough
any
daylight between our
realistic.
two militaries.
Yeah, I was gonna say any realistic difference. Yeah, there's not.
Yeah, like the argument I've heard from people is if this were to pass, the only thing that would change is that there wouldn't be there wouldn't excuse me, sorry. Israel funding wouldn't be in the yearly military budget conversation. It would, it would be rolled into it would be rolled into this and be more integrated. So it wouldn't be basically a yearly renewal on, our commitment and funding. It would just be, it would be part of the apparatus that we fund all of the military and all of the defense spending. So, I mean, it's not like realistically, there's not going to be a difference in how things function. It just factually will be more obscured.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is in my head, it's not even necessarily that it's like I have made the argument, I think, to you that like, yeah, technically we would have more oversight, but that doesn't mean that it's one right to fuse your.
Well, I don't. To my knowledge, I don't actually know if that's true that we'd get more oversight. Because to my understanding, it's not a thing where we get to see more. It's just the funding gets more rolled into.
Well, the reason I
like
say more oversight
functions.
in the sense of like, because if it is a natural function of the government to fund that, then that means that we have to disclose certain things to be able to make that happen. Like, we have laws within our government when it comes to funding, like when it comes to military research, when it comes to whatever else. And there is Pentagon, like, I mean, they never meet the actual, deadlines or anything. But there is like legal definitions of what you're actually allowed to not disclose, which would make it so that you would have to disclose at least a little bit more about where the stuff is going. But at the same time, they could, like I said before to you, just roll those into black projects or whatever else. And then there's even less oversight. You know what I mean? So it's a chicken and the egg. It's like, which one is worse? I don't know. They're both bad. It's, there's no good option when it comes to this, other than I still don't think that, because it takes away the ability for the next president to actually defund Israel. That's the problem, is with the merging of the two, it disassociates the next president or administration from having as an easy time disassociating the two militaries and stop funding one or the other. You know what I mean? Whereas if they're all lumped into one, it's very difficult to do that. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. But we are going to flip over to some Tyler Robinson stuff because that's new. I'm going to go ahead and start with this real quick.
What's going on with Tyler Robinson now?
So this is just sort of kind of just to start, just to give you a little briefer.
Is there any footage of the alleged shooting?
There is not, Judge.
I just want to clarify that.
Do we just really wait 9 whole months for them to tell us that there is no video evidence of Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk, even though there's cameras surrounding that entire campus? The Tyler Robinson show trial began yesterday in Utah. The preliminary hearings to determine which pieces of evidence can be admitted to court. Let's break down what's been presented so far, but I got to tell you guys, what an absolute clown show, Fed slop circus that we're seeing. First off, TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Colvett tweeted out this morning that there was a, quote, mountain of evidence. Well, let's sift through that mountain of evidence, shall we? Maybe.
Oh, here, I'll flip back. I got you.
Starting.
There we go.
Yeah, let's see. Improvise, supervisor, special, fuck me. I have to read this so small. The defense is playing the long game here, everything related to the procedure and rules of evidence. What can be presented and considered at trial, and obviously the bar is much lower in a prelim hearing, but they argued this afternoon. Quite long at length, okay. And I don't want to overstate this. I continue to maintain, and I've watched almost every second of the past 2 days of this preliminary. To maintain there is Everest amount of evidence in this case, okay. Very compelling. The state basically setting this up brick by brick and building the foundation. Interesting. Okay.
Real quick, do you know who Andrew Colvett is?
No. Actually, the name sounds really familiar.
Andrew Colvett is now the main host of the Charlie Kirk Show.
Colvett. Why do I? No, I don't. I'm not going to recognize this. Oh wait, no. Yes, I do.
He's out here.
I do recognize this guy.
Just shoveling Fed slop every day, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
All that shocking.
No, but the amount is it's crazy.
I mean, why wouldn't you? It's content. You have to remember, like,
that's true.
It's not like he does it. Shoveling is kind of his job. It's like,
he's the PR
he's
guy.
Like, my job is to dig holes.
And he is the PR guy. So that is true. He is the PR guy for TPUSA.
If he took over Charlie Kirk, I mean, anybody who takes over Charlie Kirk's show is going to like hyper focus on this trial and make it as, what's the word, spicy?
Yes, but specifically, it's not about being spicy.
Exciting.
It's not about being spicy. Mm-hmm. He is covering up. This dude has an interested value in this trial. Oh no, we know it at this point. Like, I mean, you don't follow it nearly as much, but like it is genuinely known that this dude has lied to the police, to the FBI, to everyone around it. The FBI has not, we're not going to get into it yet.
Colvett guy?
Yeah, this Andrew Colvett guy is not trustworthy.
Was he on the scene? Yes. I mean, I'm sure he's not. He's hosting.
No. He wasn't on the scene that day. There's other stuff. He's kind
of irrelevant then.
No, he's not irrelevant whatsoever. Not whatsoever. He's the one covering up for Charlie Kirk. Yes, I think so. Yes.
Really? You think he had something to do with the murder?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
100%. I'm just letting you know that I think this guy had something to do with it. 100%. Like, I mean, this is allegation. I'm not, this is, I don't know technically, but.
Okay. You probably shouldn't use the term "no" if we don't know. I'm just gonna.
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna stand on that.
In my opinion, 100%. This guy is fucking. Better. In my opinion, 100%. This guy is involved. It will come out in trial, I think, if it ever gets to that. But
I mean, it'll get to trial. There's no way. But I'm saying a high-profile case like this,
because of the way the trial is being done, I don't know if all of the exclusionary evidence that basically this guy has lied about is even going to get into the trial. That's my point. Like,
I mean, what evidence could he possibly have? He wasn't there. I mean, unless it's like,
oh no, okay. I'm sorry. You're just new to this, so he has been the person who's been, for example, he's the person who told Candace Owens it was supposed to be you. Like, he is very aware.
How do we know that he told her that?
Because it was on recording. Okay. He admitted to saying that this is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of this kind of stuff.
Her like getting shot, or
there's no context other than him saying, crying into Candace's arms after Charlie Kirk got killed, that it was supposed to be her.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're going to continue, but I just want you to know, Andrew Colvett, not trustworthy at all.
I mean, again, he's a turning points guy. I mean,
I'm just letting you know this dude definitely had a part in it, in my opinion.
I'm going to continue to stand on it unless I don't, bad person,
I'm telling you, this dude knew way too much. Like, he's the person who set. Okay, there's too much. We're not going to get into it. But let's just.
Colvett tweeted out this morning that there was a quote mountain of evidence. Well, let's sift through that mountain of evidence, shall we? Maybe starting with, is there footage of Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk?
Is there any footage of?
This is the lead detective on the case, by the way. That's who this guy is, who's on the stand right now.
Yeah, that's okay.
Spend a little less.
Fuck me. Oh my God, dude. I've got to get an ad blocker or something. All right.
Of the,
I'm gonna say, yeah, you definitely,
footage of the alleged shooting.
There is not, Judge.
Okay, I just want to clarify that. Ms. Nestor, given that additional information and anything further from defense.
No, but I think I'd like to be crystal clear. You asked if there's any portion of this video that captures, and I believe you asked of the actual shooting. There's no video of that. There is video, however, and you've heard testimony related to this, where the shooter goes to the top of the low-C building, goes out to the edge of the building, low crawls, and then leaves after what we assume is the shot being fired.
Do we just really wait 9 whole months for them to tell us that there is no video evidence of Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk, even though there's cameras surrounding that entire campus? Is the only thing they have this blurry video of a person who they say is Tyler Robinson jumping off a rooftop? Because guess what else? The officer who supposedly surveilled the rooftop after the shooting, his body cam apparently died. Take a listen.
All right, your body cam footage that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is?
I think the battery went dead. It was just right at that moment.
Okay. And do you know, did you ever turn it back on that day or go get it I don't know, what do you have to do, charge it or stick a new battery in it? I don't even know.
Usually dock it, but no, I didn't go back. It was too chaotic running around.
So
we really need to be a lot more strict on police with their goddamn body cams.
Dude, this is
not
telling
the
you,
first, second, third, fourth, or fifth time I've heard about.
Well, so here's the thing.
I don't know. It ran out of batteries, boss.
It ran out of footage.
I don't know, man. The minute I pulled over that black guy, my batteries just died on my body cam.
It's crazy. And I don't know if you know this, but do you know how long body cams are supposed to last, like on a single charge?
I'm sure way longer than
it's like 14 hours.
Lasting.
It's like 14 hours.
I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
And this guy is the only person. So I don't know if he's going to get to this in the rest of the video right here, but if you watch the trial, they ask him, because he says his body cam footage cuts, right? So they ask him, is there anybody else on the roof with you when you go up there? Do you know what his answer is?
What the fuck? Okay. Whatever.
It's
no. What's his answer?
His answer is yes. There was another person with me. There was a plainclothes individual with a badge and a gun who escorted me up to the roof. And then they ask him, "Do you know his name or what agency he was with?" He says, "I did not identify." It's like, dude, and on top of that, this guy is the guy who found supposedly the imprints of where Tyler Robinson was laying down on the roof, right? He's also the same police officer who found the screwdriver. Once this body cam turns off, there is no chain of custody that is on video that is from the obtaining of the screwdriver to evidence locker. There is no chain of custody because he didn't have a fucking police body cam. You know what I mean? Like, that's totally against protocol. It's not even admissible into evidence if there's no chain of custody.
Sorry, I was speed reading. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's just, So let's continue.
I mean, if you're asking me if cops cut corners, my answer is yeah. I've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't
obviously.
say it.
Yeah.
Incredibly
No,
shocking.
I don't have a problem with that. So
minute and 35-second body cam that starts when you're at the Hall of Flags and ends while you're still on the roof, but haven't put the crime tape up yet. That's the only body cam you have that day.
Yes. How does stuff like this always seem to just happen, right? We have Epstein with the jail camera malfunctioning. We also have Tyler Robinson when he was brought to jail, right? That footage is somehow now missing as well. What the hell is going on here? A little bit more information about that. It says Officer Bagley, who found...
I'll read this. Officer Bagley, who found the sniper's pad on the Losi Center roof, testified his body cam battery died just 1 hour and 44 minutes into an 11 a.m. shift. Modern body cams are built for 10 to 14 hours for continuous recording. He walked away with roughly 27 minutes of footage of the entire day of Kurt's assassination and never recharged or swapped it, citing the chaos. Like, what?
Fortunate coincidence.
Battery just
unexpectedly died.
you're not gonna like my answer, but yeah, that sounds pretty plausible. It's not shocking. Police not doing their due diligence, but I don't really see any kind of weirdness about that besides.
All right, we're gonna get there.
Guess what? It gets
People are
worse.
bad
because
at their jobs.
Guess who Tyler Robinson
gonna get
was
there.
meeting with on the morning of...
There's also
on the morning of Capital One.
Yeah, I know, right? There's
God
also
damn, man, how many ads does one have to watch?
I know.
That's why I have YouTube Premium.
Yeah. Well, they also get to the fact that there is, so the officer says that he never finds a shell casing, right? But then they find a bullet on another rooftop. Let me see.
Who was that?
I believe that's
I don't know if he's going to get to it in this video, but
effectively died or malfunctioned. But guess what? It gets worse because guess who Tyler Robinson was meeting with on the morning of the assassination?
Who was that?
I believe that's Tyler Robinson.
Right. Where does he go from there?
He heads out of the parking garage on foot into the campus and actually goes to the quad area of the campus. At that time, he makes contact with some representatives from TP USA.
I'm sorry. Okay. What? Tyler Robinson?
What now? So he gets out of the car at 8:30 in the morning, goes and meets with TPUSA representatives, then gets back in his car and leaves. What?
Was making contact with representatives from TPUSA. I don't know, might be kind of relevant to figure out who. Now, interestingly, an eyewitness testimony confirmed by the same agent in court.
Do we know if those people were interviewed or not?
No, not yet.
Because there's a world where they were like, I don't know, some kid came by and asked if we were TPUSA. We were like,
that's the
yeah.
thing. So
and
to be fair,
like, that's cool.
To be fair, this is all like just fresh evidence, so they haven't gone through the trial part of it yet. So he just said that in passing. They did not follow up. So there's many speculations going around, and it could very well be that he just literally went and just like when he says, corresponded or just met with a TPUSA representative or whatever, he could literally just go up and be like, hey man, when does this start? Like that could be his contact with a, you know what I mean? There's no nefarious per se, like you can't draw anything from it. But the fact that they didn't, there's another part of this where basically the fact that TPUSA has been saying they have all this mountain of evidence, but then not releasing certain parts of evidence is...
What are they? Wait, what? TPUSA has evidence of...
Oh, they've been saying for months that they have all the evidence.
Oh, well, I mean, you shouldn't trust anything TPUSA says. They have a literal monetary, as I said earlier, they literally have a monetary incentive to make this entire episode as interesting as possible.
But the thing is they're not even the ones who are being watched from this. They're not the ones who are making any monetary value from this because they've lost all credibility with everybody. You know what I mean?
They're probably making some. I mean, there are always hangers on.
I think
it's
they're
not
just
like
making money.
Nobody
from...
watches
never mind. We're not gonna
TPUSA, but that's like kind of the goal, right? Is you want to be as, there's a reason why Candace makes her shows the way she does, and it's to make them as salacious and as provocative as possible. Because she's, she doesn't get paid to like, do research or, seek truth or any of that shit. She's there to, be a fucking lightning rod for controversy because that's how she pays the bills. I mean, that's why she says all the dumb shit she does say. I mean, it's not like,
hey,
she's in it for the paycheck.
Hey, don't talk about our principal like that. Because also, I don't think that's disingenuous.
No,
I think that's disingenuous.
No, it's just my opinion. I just don't think she's an honest, genuine actor. If like nobody who makes every story, especially ones about a,
this is her best friend that got
I'm not
killed.
I'm not gonna say coworker.
No, this is her best friend that got killed.
Yeah, and she's made it about herself the entire time.
No, she has not. She has literally the entire time made it about Charlie Kirk and whether or not he is being served justice. That is the entire purpose of this.
No, it's not. It's the farm views.
It is. I disagree. That's 100%.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why her shows are structured in a way where it feels like it's like a true crime documentary. And Candace is pulling at all of the
because this is information she's getting as this investigation is going out, and because they are being they're withholding information from the populace as far as what happened to this man. Like regardless of whether or not I give a fuck about
none of us have a right. First of all, none of us have a right to any of this information.
That's not true.
When the trial
not true at all.
When the trial goes,
there's a public there's a public opinion that has to be held with a public
when it goes to trial,
assassination.
then we can watch all of that.
No. The prosecution has even said and stated that we are all victims who've seen the video, and so that we should all be served justice. That has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. It has to do with the fact that justice in and of itself and truth.
That's not real though.
That is true.
None of that's real though.
That is true.
Real. That is the prosecution. I mean, that's the prosecution engaging in politics and rhetoric and everything else.
No, that's not true.
They have a job to do,
because even if you were the prosecution, for example, the MLK case when he got killed in front of kids and in front of adults and everything else, those people who watched it were victims and they were tried as victims. Like those people were in court as victims, as witnesses of the case. So every person who watched the
Charlie those Kirk, people on the stand?
Yes.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. There were witnesses that they not every witness because they didn't need every witness.
Oh, not every witness.
But because they used the witnesses they used as an exemplary of the rest of the populace who watched it happen. You don't have to have every person hop to the stand to say that every person who watched it.
Yeah, I don't care. That's dumb. That's dumb. And it
no,
matter.
that is
the actual
legally
victim. The actual
legally
victim
that
is
is
the
a
person
thing.
who gets shot. Yeah, I don't care. And that's again what that is again legal showcasing. Like a lot of that.
No, it's not showcasing. It's legitimate legal document. Process. Like, hey guys,
it can be. I'm not arguing it's not legitimate. I'm arguing I don't care, and it's irrelevant to the point of who shot who. I care about who shot Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. That's what I care about.
Which is
I don't
the
give
FBI.
a fuck about all the people.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about all the people who saw it. I understand that's traumatic. That's awful. I don't like that. But what I'm concerned with is who shot, like, one of the greatest, if not the greatest civil rights leader in this country's history. I could get, all the people who are like, oh, that was terrible. It was terrible because he got shot. It's not terrible because people saw him get shot. And when it comes down to Charlie Kirk,
I disagree with that. A little bit. I disagree with that because a public execution is specifically to cause fear in the victims who watched it. That is specifically the point of a public execution.
Yeah, I understand. So yes and no. That's not necessarily.
That is literally the point. Like, because you could kill somebody in lots of ways without being in public and doing it. The point of killing someone in public is
when you have an
because you're
opportunity
trying to cause like mass fear.
No, that's not necessarily true. But that's not always true. Some people are just psychopaths, and are just like, I take the shots.
I think that's just that's sort of kind of just denigrating the point of somebody's killing. Like they killed MLK on his balcony in that way because they wanted it to be a public affair.
So in terms of MLK, I don't remember. It's been a very long time since I've done any deep dive or really any deep dive.
I mean, no, it was literally the reasoning FBI. Behind it is important. There's text behind the FBI. There's literally correspondence through the FBI that said that they killed him in public specifically because they wanted to make an example of him.
You're talking about an organization, though. That's different.
And that's what I'm saying is the same thing here.
But that's not what's happening here.
But
that's
it
not
is.
What anybody
it's just
is arguing.
That's what's at the moment. It's not that that's on trial.
And also, that's not a blanket statement on all. That's not a blanket statement on all like political figure killings or attacks. Like people just kind of, people at the end of the day, sometimes these shootings are political. Sometimes it's psychopaths. The people who stalk like musicians and try to kill them in public aren't doing so to make examples, aren't doing so to terrorize fans of those artists. They're doing so because they have fucking brain disease most of the time and their fucking brains are broken. Like why people get killed is a different conversation in terms of like, why people kill other people, especially when they're large figures, generally comes down to, sometimes they're political assassinations. Sometimes there's just assassinations of political figures. There is a difference.
I agree with that
between those two things.
But my
I would argue, and
that...
my argument continues to be, this was probably a political assassination because Tyler Robinson seems to, I don't know, they had some kind of evidence that he had some beef with Charlie Kirk, and it seems like he wanted to take a shot.
No, they don't. They have no evidence.
Well, you don't know that now, do you?
No, I have watched the trial the last 3 days, and I'm telling you that they have no evidence.
I already asked you about topics, and you already said they haven't gone through them. So no, you don't have evidence. You do not have, unless you want to send me the documents so I can review on a first-hand basis. You do not have evidence, and you should do well to remember that any evidence you have is filtered through people on the internet who have I'm
specifically going off the trial.
Obvious, yeah, but the trial's only been the last couple of days. You've been on this train for months.
Yeah,
you have been consuming content from people like Candace Owens who have an agenda, who have a reason to want to.
But what do you think her agenda is? Do you think it's just monetary?
What do you mean? Yes. What do you mean?
Don't have you think that she has zero care whatsoever about Charlie Kirk's life and her friendship with him? You think she has zero care about that at all?
I am sure it is the smaller portion, because what is she doing right now? She is doing better now, performance-wise, in terms of her metrics. She has performed better.
That's not an equation of her care of whether or not her best friend. Like if you died through these kinds of circumstances.
What is this? Her best friend? Were you the third person in their like?
No, I mean like it's been proven that basically they were best friends.
That's not brother. Would you like to prove somebody is best friends with somebody? Is there a metric that I'm supposed to be aware of? That I'm best friends with somebody?
But that's my point. Is so you're making the assumption that she's making off monetary value, and I'm saying that she's doing off of the friendship.
No. Answer the question. How do you know they were best friends? Have you witnessed them together?
They texted a lot. There was a lot of third-party communication where she has backed up and he has backed her up in other situations where she has been under attack because it's in public. How do you know that exists?
Wait, hold on. She's been under attack.
And he has defended her.
She's been under attack. And
he has defended her.
Up her and
But he has defended her.
Because they're media figures and they defend each other.
No.
That's not shocking.
There's text in between them where they have defended each other.
How do you know? Where have you seen the text?
From his defenders and her. Both.
No. Where have you seen the text messages between them?
I guess on many people's...
Did you hack their phones? Do you have
Okay,
access
so you're
to
saying
their
that because it's
text
not
logs?
immediate understanding, meaning I don't have access directly to those text messages, that I can't make a decision.
Who is telling you they are best friends?
Literally everyone related to them in their friendship circle. So like Tucker Carlson.
You talk to who's their friend? Oh wait, Tucker Carlson, another media figure.
But all their friends are media
Who would
figures.
also like to be a character in this whole assassination storyline? Who would also like to, maybe inherit a little bit of that audience?
Who would be an acceptable answer then? How would I be able to prove
bud.
to you?
Maybe if you knew them, maybe if you knew somebody, if you had a friend or a family member who knew either
you have
of
to
them,
be immediately involved with them to be able to make that conclusion, is what you're saying.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
ridiculous.
I do think
because then
that
you
when
can't
we are
prove
talking
anything if you're
about
not those two
media
people.
figures, when we are talking about media figures, especially ones with as dubious backgrounds as Candace Owens and the rest of them, I do think that this whole they were best friends. How do I know that? Because they've said they were. And one of them can say yes to that. One of them, the one person who can't deny that they were best friends, a very, very, what's the word? Conveniently, is Charlie Kirk.
But
Charlie
the
Kirk can't
texts
come
are
back
out,
and go
and they've been corroborated.
And who has released the text? Did Charlie
But
Kirk
they've
release
been
his own text message logs?
corroborated. It doesn't matter who released them. They've been corroborated.
I'm not corroborated by who?
By his own staff and by the text message that Erica Kirk has put out.
So Erica Kirk, another media figure,
who is
also
against
is kind of in a
who is against
who's in
Candace.
Is in a thing.
So they both have corroborated the same texts.
Do you understand how parasocial this is? And that's why you take all this at face value?
No, I'm not taking it at face value. I'm saying that legitimately there are
But you
third-party
don't know
representatives
you don't know these people.
But
those
that's
aren't
the thing.
third-party representatives. All of those people
But that
have
could go to the
monetary
exact same
and social stakes.
That could go to the
If
same
you
argument
have-
that you're making. It's the exact same argument.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. If you would like to point me in the direction of an independent journalist,
Because
who's
you're
been able to
making the
scan all of these
assumption
people's
that
phones,
the entire relationship is fake and it's all on a monetary basis that she is doing any of this investigation.
So
you're making a lot of big leaps.
No.
about that.
No.
That's a lot of leaps, dude.
Let's be clear. I don't know these people, and if I am to believe points B, C, and D that you have presented as part of the narrative, we need to start at A. And if A is they were best friends, I'm already like, well, I don't really know. How am I supposed to objectively analyze that? Am I just supposed to take the word of this person who is benefiting monetarily?
No, it's like
from
everybody within that friend group has corroborated
say everybody,
that.
But every time you mention somebody, they are connected in some kind of monetary and media ecosystem way. Nobody you have named is far away from this.
Who
to
would
have
be named
credibility.
that's that?
I don't. Again, ask what's Ryan Grimm. Fucking literally anybody who is
they
not
aren't paying
connected
attention
to
to
these
it.
people. Then I don't blame them because they probably like me think this isn't worth my time.
That's my point.
That these people
just
are
because it's not worth your
obviously
time doesn't
just
mean that it's
trying
fake.
to make money off of Charlie Kirk's death and continue to make it.
I think you
a
should
whole
start
story.
playing a little bit of devil's advocate on your own position a little bit
No,
and be like, hey,
I'm not.
man,
I'm not. I have more than enough experience with Candace Owens. She has been in media since what, 2016, 2017?
Yeah.
And she has flip-flop positions. She has not made good points in quite a long time on most stuff, but just generally, I know her politics and I understand where she comes from. She got her career by complaining about racism at a time and doing the whole Blexit nonsense. She is and has always been a provocateur. And if you are telling me right now, no, Josh, I'm telling you, the provocateur is being real this time, I'm not surprised when you tell me that you would have voted for the corrupt billionaire politician because you thought, well, he said he would do, pro-American stuff, even though he's been scamming people forever. So, I mean, I'm not surprised by that, but like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the, like, you know, online provocateur of Candace Owens is suddenly, you know, really, really concerned with this, let alone the fact that, once again, undeniable, not once have you disagreed with this fact, that she is doing monetarily better since Charlie has died. That is insurmountable. It is incontrovertible that she is monetarily performing better since her show became the true crime episode of My Best Friend Got Killed. And isn't it interesting that, what does she do? I said she centers herself. My best friend, my friend Charlie, my. That's what her stuff has been about. And that's why. Because it's not about Charlie Kirk. It's not about truth. It's not about justice. It's not about any of that shit. It's about Candace. Because she is the main character in all of this. She is the last living will and testament of her friend, and Israel and the rest of the world is out to get her, and you guys need to support her so that she can keep doing the work.
But you're making that argument as though the
exactly?
TPUSA literally organization that took over his organization has not gone against every single thing that he went against at the end of his life. That's what I'm saying. So you're saying that she's taken over the mantle or whatever, she's trying to take the mantle, but like supposedly TPUSA got all of this from him by word of mouth, that he gave his organization to TPUSA, right? That's the whole thing. And so if the whole thing is that,
what are you even talking about? I didn't understand like half of that sentence.
Okay, so the whole point is that yes, Candace is sitting here trying to figure out, okay, I'm gonna say figure out the truth of what actually happened to Charlie Kirk. But what you're saying is it's on a monetary value of basically like she's just trying to get monetary value out of his death. Well, what I'm saying is that TPUSA...
She's trying to profit off of his death. I want to be really clear. She's profiting off of...
I know, and I disagree, but I'm saying...
The same way true crime people...
I understand what you're saying.
I understand what you're saying.
I disagree. But here's the thing.
Which I don't
what
like,
TPUSA is doing is they are taking his legacy and actually transforming it into something that he did not agree with. So
why do I care? Why do I care?
Because that is the point. That is the point. Is what you're saying is that she is taking his legacy and transforming it or doing something and like trying to.
No. Let me be very clear. She's not taking his legacy. She wants access to his viewers. She wants to drive as much engagement as she can. It's not about the message. There is no message that Candace cares about.
That's not true. I disagree. But that's not the point. The point is not about any of these exclusionary,
but that's fine.
like literally none of this matters. Like what you're complaining about, none of that matters, because really what it comes down to is, again, TPUSA has lied from the start when it comes to his death and how it happened, who took care of it, how all the things happened, why the scene was paved over the day after, all that stuff. That is all things that they have lied about.
Wait. Start over. Build the case. All that stuff what?
That is all things that TPUSA representatives have lied about since his death. Every single timeline that they've given is a lie, which is why Candace...
Timeline
of his death and everything that happened after his death. Okay.
What are the timelines that they've given?
Meaning when they arrived at airports, who actually had all of the data from the cameras.
Why does this matter?
Because
this all has to do with the actual case. Besides, people aren't good at logging that kind of information.
No. This isn't bad at logging. This is actual lying. That's the difference. I agree with you.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Whoa! You need to prove it's lying. You're skipping a lot of steps here.
So,
I don't know if you know this, but you kind of have to prove somebody is lying.
So, for example, Terrence Farnsworth,
being
the guy
incorrect
who is
not the same thing as lying.
So, for example, Terrell Farnsworth, the guy who took the SD card from the camera from the behind Charlie Kirk after he died. He stated to Candace Owens and to the public on X and on a video chat with
the public. What do you mean he stated to the public, to Candace Owens and on X? Like what? He texted Candace, hey,
no, they had a video chat. They had a video chat, and they also had
they had a video chat. Why did they have a video chat?
Because she didn't trust that he was giving her the full video. So she screen record, because what ended up happening was she was asking for the SD card for the camera that was behind Charlie
Why would
Kirk.
she be asking for that?
Because
Why would she ask for that? She doesn't work
proves
for-
whether or not it was a
Does she work for
30-06.
I don't remember. Does she work for TPUSA?
No, she does not.
I don't remember. No, that's what I thought. Okay.
So she was asking for the evidence because people were saying that it was a 30-06. If it was a 30-06, it would have gone through his neck. Okay.
Now,
That
why
was
the
whole
fuck?
thing.
Okay, so here's a better question. If I am this
you're
videographer or
derailing
whatever-
what I'm saying immediately.
Yeah, because like
But,
you're,
like,
you're,
just-
you're,
just hold
you're
on.
not connecting strings.
I
But you're
am.
not connecting strings, and also no, not really.
No, this
Because
is I'm
my
starting
question
with the
follows-
beginning of the story. So Charlie Kirk gets shot.
Yeah, okay.
Terrell Farnsworth,
Okay.
3 minutes after he gets shot, goes up,
Okay,
takes
I'm
the
gonna
SD
write
card
that down.
out of the camera, out of the back of the tent. That is very suspicious. Terrell Farnsworth
What's
goes
suspicious about it?
because
I'm gonna ask all of
he's
these.
literally
so, like,
just a fucking guy. He's just a video. He's the owner of digital or virtual images, I think is the name of the company, who is like the media company that basically runs some of TPUSA's media stuff. He then takes the SD card out of the camera, out of the back of the crime scene. Okay. Runs around the back as Charlie Kirk is being taken to the SUV, and then makes a video of him being like, "Oh my God, they shot Charlie. He's dead." Blah blah blah. Charlie then Candace and multiple people ask him, "Hey, can I see that footage?" And then he says, "I don't think that I can show you that footage." He says, "I've already given it to the FBI." He says, basically, whatever. He ends up showing her the footage, but it's off his iPhone, off of like a FaceTime footage. She screen recorded the conversation. He ends up basically having a whole freak out about the fact that she recorded it. Okay. Then come to find out in today's trial, he did not even give the SD card to the FBI until September. It was like 3 months later. And he did not give them the SD cards. He gave them a flash drive. So he did not give the FBI the evidence that he took from the scene. That is what happened, is that he did not give the FBI the actual evidence that he recovered from the scene that day. He gave them who fucking knows what. So it's inadmissible evidence, but it will end up being put into court. So he is not the only one. There is multiple times like, for example, they talk about.
Okay, can we stop? Can we stop? Can I ask my questions for that specific case?
Yeah.
Okay. So
wait, I'm gonna go pee real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Do it.
Sorry.
Are you fucking serious? Hopefully everyone's night's going good. Hopefully not all of you have Charlie Kirk shooting autism. It seems like it's quite a real struggle. But, we endure. We all have our obsessions. Who? Does anybody in this audience watch pro wrestling by any chance? Oh, what the hell? Oh, I'm playing 2K. The new one's actually pretty good. Well, actually, I have a modded save, so it's definitely a little bit better with mods that fix the bullshit.
Oh shit!
But a lot of fun.
I was about to piss myself.
AEW
dude.
was tonight. Kenny Omega, new AEW World Champion. Pretty exciting.
I was about to piss myself.
I still think
Holy
they're gonna do a
God.
triple threat for Wembley personally, but god damn. Okay. So once again, okay. So Charlie gets shot. Dude runs back to get the SD card.
Hold on real quick. I flipped that.
Okay.
He runs back and does the oh my God, he's shot, and then he goes and gets the SD card.
Okay. So what's weird about that?
you're not supposed to remove evidence from the crime scene?
Sure, people are stupid, but like, what's nefarious about it?
He also didn't.
Is it better explained by nefarious activities or just being dumb?
I would say nefarious.
Which I would argue these people have a propensity for being dumb.
I would say nefarious because it prior to...
Why is your answer to all of it always nefarious?
I think that these people are nefarious.
I mean, I think they're evil and, like, you know, dishonest from a political standpoint. But, you know, if your boss gets shot in front of you, I mean, I already think it's damning that your boss gets shot in front of you and you go and run and film a little
Do you want to see the video?
Oh my God.
Do you want to see the video?
Not really. I don't care.
No.
It's not an...
Well,
I mean, it's not important.
Go ahead.
You can look it up. It's just not. What's like? I've seen videos. I saw some video of some content creator who Charlie got shot and he was standing in the middle of the fucking crowd while everybody's running for their life and like, oh my God, y'all! Charlie Kirk just got shot. This is fucking crazy. And it's like, okay, so that guy has like brain worms. Like that person has like no.
And you know what?
Survival
You could make that argument for the Terrell Farm, and I did make that argument for the Terrell Farnsworth video for a long time. That I was like, oh, he's just got like he is the owner of a digital communications company, and so it is very possible that he just has brain rot and runs over and is just like. First of all, I mean, to be fair, he didn't know that Charlie Kirk got killed. He just says he got killed. He's like, oh, they killed Charlie Kirk. Like, that's what he says. But
yeah.
And he doesn't know that at the time. So that is a little bit weird. But I could see it if you're standing there and you see the video.
Out, I mean, yeah, exactly.
I don't hold that against him. That checks out. I have no problem. But the problem is...
so he grabs so he grabs the SD card and then Candace asks, when does she ask for this SD card? Is this like a week later, 1 day later? When like on the spot?
This is probably 2-3 weeks later.
So 2-3 weeks later, Candace asks to see the footage and he doesn't send it to her. Is that supposed to be weird?
He basically is like, because this is when all of the investigation is supposedly over, right? Because the investigation was over in 48 hours is what they told us.
I mean, they got a body and they had somebody. I mean
an
investigation like that, given the timeline, I'm not surprised that it was over. I mean, the news cycle was over in like 48 hours. Like
but
the rest of it's going to be
I'm talking about
analysis.
Like everything was done within 48. Like the entirety of the investigation was over within 48 hours. That's just what I'm saying.
Do you mean everything collected for possible trial? Because
yes,
there's usually months of like analysis that goes.
Yes.
Okay, how do you know that?
That's just what the FBI told us at the time. Like
so
during their press just during their press briefings and all that kind of stuff. That's what they said to the public.
Okay, so that in that case, you take the FBI's word.
I don't. I'm saying that is what they stated to the public.
Might I offer that the investigation was not over within 48 hours because it's almost impossible.
But the thing is what was the crime scene was
the on the ground investigation over? Yes.
Okay.
But data analysis and everything else.
Yeah.
I think we.
Yeah. 100%. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Okay.
All day.
Candace asks. Candace asks for evidence from the crime scene. Is it weird that this individual did not give it to her? I don't think that's weird. I think that's pretty. I would argue that's pretty normal. Or at the very least, I wouldn't blame somebody for being like, I'm not sending you video files. That's sketchy.
You're right. I guess I could see that being a problem. Here's the thing. The FBI this is you're gonna say this is exculpatory evidence, so I'm not gonna get into that. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I won't say that. If it's dumb, I'll just say it's dumb and unimportant. I mean, you can say it. I'm not.
No, I'm saying it's exculpatory, meaning like it doesn't. I think that it matters to the case, but that doesn't necessarily think that you think it matters. Is all I'm getting.
Okay.
At.
So I mean, what's the so far? I just don't really see why. As an example, this story of TPUSA that you've sold to me, and I'm sure has been sold to many others, that TPUSA is somehow involved. And this is a micro example, probably one of multiple that you would point to, of like there's weird stuff going on with the staff on the crime scene.
It's not with the staff
when it happens.
I mean, yes, it is the staff, but
like
it's specifically their handling of the evidence and their communication with the police that are investigating it. So for example, like there's a part in the
No, I want to stay on this. I want to stay on this topic before we expand.
Sorry.
So Candace asked for the evidence. They don't. It sounds like he gave the evidence to the FBI and kind of gave her shitty phone recording evidence.
Well, basically what ends up happening is basically she asks him for just like, hey, could you send me whatever you have if you have it?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't think I can do that. She's like, okay, that's fine. Would you be able to just like, I don't know, is there anything you can tell me about the video that you got? Because at this point, this is 3 or 4 weeks after basically the shot and sort of kind of what I would call the propaganda starts to come out, as far as like they're saying it's the furry guy. They're saying it's, you know what I mean? Like they're saying it's this lone shooter who shows up on the Losi building. They've got photos of his car. He ends up leaving his gun in the woods.
Is there evidence that there were 2 people at the time?
No. Well, now there is. Now there is. But at the time, no. At the time, no.
I mean, I've seen the video. There was one, you know, I think we watched it on stream. There's one guy laying down, gets up and runs.
Well, so actually I was going to get into that tonight. They've released the full footage of that. So we can get into that, but I don't want to get off track because I don't want to.
So again, do you have another? Is there? So it feels like this is a nothing. That this doesn't this.
Well, okay.
This specific topic, this specific.
I think it matters specifically because I think it matters because specifically their narrative that came out directly after the shooting is that it was a 30-06 bullet fired from the Losi Center that killed Charlie.
Who's their narrative?
The FBI.
Who's their narrative?
The FBI and the investigative police, right? Their narrative that they were putting out was that it was, hey, they found a rifle at a forested area in a chicken coop.
Yep. Close by. Yep.
Yeah, and it was a Mauser 34 or 36, whatever. And so well, so the reason that she asked for the back evidence is because prior to that, there was no other footage available to the public other than the ones that basically we saw that day of it, of the neck just sort of kind of spurting blood kind of thing, right?
So would you say
go ahead.
Would you say it's fair to characterize that as Candace Owens is looking for an exclusive?
No, I would say she's looking. Okay, you can frame it that way if that's how you'd like to, but I would say that's.
Do you think that's a fair characterization? Not
no,
like
I don't
if
think
you
so.
like it.
No, I don't think so.
Not if you like it. Okay, then what is she looking for then?
I think she doesn't believe the narrative, just like I didn't believe in the narrative at the time.
Okay, that's fine. But why does? But she is looking for evidence that she would have.
I think she's using her platform to be able to force somebody to give her evidence that she could.
So why? Why does she think she has a right to that evidence?
Again, this is just going to come into that conversation of I think that because she thinks that she's close enough to the victim that she believes that she's able to dig for that.
Syndrome,
yeah, that's the argument that I would make.
Okay, so again, she thinks she's important to this, and she would like an exclusive to make it a little bit more important, to be a little bit more ahead of the curve.
Again, exclusive, I don't think, because the whole thing was she took two. Or
what would it be? How would you describe video evidence that only you have access to through your connections? How do we describe that as anything other than having an exclusive?
I would just like to take the idea of it being a monetary thing out of it. if I was your best friend.
So do you want to know why that will never happen?
But I'm just saying, think about it this way. Think about it
Mm-hmm.
this way. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that reality is what reality is, and I understand what you're sort of kind of getting at in that way. That like, hey, the reality is that she has this giant platform, and that she is using this in a way, at least in your opinion, to benefit from. At least in your opinion.
No. Whoa. It's not my opinion that she's benefit. I'm going to hold on that. It is not an opinion of mine. It is. I will pull up the fucking social blade, but we're not going to play this game. I can prove that Candace Owens has benefited from the death of Charlie Kirk in a monetary fashion. You, on the other hand, cannot prove that they are best friends because A, there's no objective metric for that, but B, there's no real way to actually prove that. You have an unprovable
there's multiple group texts of them.
Again, okay, we have multiple group texts. Is that like me and you do this? Are we best friends and me and Jamal are just close friends, or like what's the line? There is no objective measurement for this. And that's what I mean.
Okay, so
say,
can we just say friends then? Like he would go to bat for her?
I am sure. Well, depends. What do you mean by go to bat?
Like, I mean, he multiple times said that he would defend her.
Mhm.
He went to bat for her every time. He never said a negative word about her.
Okay.
Like,
never said a negative word about her in public and private. On his podcast, on her podcast.
As far as I'm aware.
Well, you wouldn't know about one of them.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Ones,
but
right?
I'm saying that enough private texts have been like put out.
How many private texts?
I mean, there's been many private texts between.
I mean, what are we what are we talking? How do we establish friendship? I text Felipe maybe twice a year.
Yeah, but I feel like
but
this is
like
all
he
semantics.
was over at the house. Well, yeah, that's kind of my point now, isn't it? Is that you're relying, like, the grounding for your argument and your position on all of this is semantics. Mine, on the other hand, has been consistently on data. And consistently on what
I
we
can understand
observe
that your point
in
is on the
behavior.
data of like her getting monetary value from his death. I can give you that 100%. Like I don't have a problem with that. Giving that
I want a
up.
visual chart. When did Charlie Kirk get shot?
September 10th of 2025.
September 10th. What is her main channel? Is her main channel the podcast one, or is her main channel just her name one? Because there are two, and I don't watch her enough to know which one. Because isn't one of them controlled? I'm gonna assume the 6 million one is the bigger one. Yeah, because isn't the podcast one controlled by?
There's one called Candace,
Controlled
and
by,
that's it. It's the Candace one. It's whichever one she's.
Yeah, I think it's.
Candace
I'm gonna,
Owens.
like I said, I'm
It's
going
Candace
to.
Owens. Real
It's
Candace
that one.
Owens.
Okay,
Oh.
cool. Okay, excellent. So let's take a look. When did he get shot? In September, right?
Yep.
Let's
But I
see.
don't. Again, I
September
feel like this is a mute
25?
argument a little bit.
Brother. Oh my God, brother.
Because like if she is and people see her as his best friend, right? Like we're gonna make stipulations on whatever that, but like, and they see her as an invested interest, where they see TPUSA as not an invested interest in his truth, as far as what happened to
it's
him.
that they're both incredibly unreliable.
I disagree with that.
One of them. Well, okay. So if you disagree with that, then you need to make the argument as to why TPUSA isn't credible, but Candace is, even though one of them has
TPUSA is specifically working against the interests of his actual truth of his killing.
What do you mean?
Like
you don't know
they
that.
are
You don't know-
obfuscating.
Wait. Do you know the truth of his killing? Do you have the crystal ball? If so, you should share that information with the FBI. But again, you believe you have the answer. And I'm sorry to let you know that you
No, I
do
don't
not.
believe I have the answer. I believe that I know that what they're saying is a lie.
No, you don't, though.
Because
we're not there.
But
You were
even
not
from
there.
the
You have never
preliminary
seen any of the
trials,
evidence.
the last
You
3
have
days,
not-
you
don't have the resources to make a call.
But
on
even
truth or
the
fact on
judge in the last 3 days has said that their evidence is exculpatory, and he has said that some of their evidence isn't admissible because it's not actually from people. Like, for example, there's a compilation clip that they have.
Yes,
that it was
I heard about. I
inadmissible
did hear about that
because it is
Yeah,
not.
do you know why?
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. They never contacted any of the original.
Wait, no, finish it. Why did the judge not let that into trial?
Because it is an edited video.
Because the defense argued that it was.
But the defense has
manipulated in a
argued on
fashion
every
edited.
single issue this entire
That's
court.
that is kind of their
but
job
that's
to
their
make
job.
arguments and defend their.
But the defense,
I'm
their
aware.
whole job is that, and nothing that is like their whole point that, because they've made this on every single thing when it comes to the evidence being admitted in a trial, is they're like, because this is the preliminary trial, so if they air any of this evidence, then they will what's it called, taint the jury pool. So they're saying that in the preliminary trials, they don't want any evidence aired in the preliminary trials. They are okay with it being aired and admitted into court during the actual trial.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Because they don't want to taint the jury pool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the problem with any of it? Like that guy did that video where he was like, "There's no video evidence." Like, no, it's that they're not allowing it into this.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have. I don't
create issues.
I don't. Wait, you talking about James?
So once
Lee?
again, what does this have to do with anything then? What are we? What?
Well, I'm just saying that.
Explain to me how this is relevant to why TPUSA is trustworthy, but Candace Owen isn't. Even though, again, we both agree that both of them are almost certainly too close to this case. I mean, both of them are media figures that should not be going out and sharing narratives. They should not be going out and lobbying. They should not be going out and releasing any kind of evidence to any of this. What they should be doing is allowing the trial to play out and allowing things to, as trials are supposed to, be untainted and just kind of happen. But they're not, because TPUSA would like to make money.
Yeah,
TPUSA would love to make money the same way Candace does. Because at the end of the day, they can run a network that says we are the vestiges of.
But here's the thing.
Here's
where I would get my crux at this.
We are the inheritors. Somebody has to be the inheritors to his audience and to those people. And it's either TPUSA because it's the organization he helped build, or it's somebody else. And I
get what you're getting at. I think I get what you're getting at.
And a little Tucker, but I think Tucker's got Tucker's doing all right, and he didn't just launch a show recently. He's been doing a show for a while. Candace launched this version of her show.
We're not going to get into that.
I think within like a year or something. So she needs the boost. She could use the boost. But also, I'm gonna pull this in for a second. I want you to see this.
Do you want to just send it to me on? Yeah.
I mean, I just want you to see this. If you can throw this up, if you can.
Let me pull this up. I got you.
You'll notice in both of these graphs, there is a noticeable uptick in activity on both a subscriber level and on a viewer level in September.
Mm-hmm.
This is what in a sustained growth. And a sustained,
But I want you to notice. So here's the thing: is I understand what you're getting at right here, and I agree with you.
Yep.
But I think you're misunderstanding why there is a spike. Like, okay.
Woof. Would you like to tell me what other big news event that was relevant to Candace Owens
you're
happened
right.
in September?
You're right in the sense of yes, she's obviously like a friend of Charlie's, so people just flocked to her.
Dude, okay. How often? Dude, she has made a lot of her show. She has dedicated how much of her show to this story.
But I want you to understand.
Right? I'm not wrong.
Want you to understand real quick. She was not targeting US or the TPUSA for the first probably 6 months of this investigation.
I don't care if she was. I didn't say that she wants to kill.
My point is that
TPUSA.
she's not there to create controversy for her to be able to get this boost in views.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because
How do
for
you know
the
she's not
first
there to
3
create
months of him dying, she did not really cover like she just covered what the FBI.
She didn't cover the updates.
She covered the updates from the
time?
FBI and all those things. She was not covering like, oh yeah, Erica Kirk did this interview and did this and that, and like she wasn't making that thing. Hey, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, because she was still riding the initial wave.
Hey,
the first wave was, oh my God, Charlie Kirk got shot, and the first wave was, you know, how do we explain this happening? The second wave of this story was the sustained back and forth between Candace, TPUSA, and Erica Kirk. That's part 2 to this. None of that came in until later, when the FBI stopped investigating, or, you know, at the very least, the preliminary investigation's over. Like, you got to keep the story alive somehow. So, you know, what do? You be skeptical of everything. You start trying to find, you know, little things here and there to pick apart. I mean, it was very obvious. She would take aim at anything she could. Anything that just kind of looked slightly off color, you know, she would jump on and make, you know, a month of her show about.
I don't know. I think
it's like,
I think that's sort of kind of one of those things where, like, that's a thing of somebody who's.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong and prove it. But don't give me this like I don't think.
My point would be that I've watched the episodes constantly, so I'm saying that.
I know, but that's like, I mean, I'm aware, but that's like kind of, you know, this is the person.
No, I'm
who's
saying,
you know,
my point is that,
who's
like,
got the
as
problem
somebody
being
who's
like, nah,
actually
man.
watching the show, most of it isn't about that. Like,
I've never said most of it is. Most of it doesn't have to be about that. She just needs to keep the story alive and keep it as
I don't see
going
that that's
as much as possible.
I don't see that as a negative. I think that's a thing that, like, yes, I would
I'm
do.
aware you don't, but that's kind of the problem, isn't it? That's why I take issue with it.
But don't
that is
don't
kind
you think
of
that's
the
a
problem.
little bit like, I don't know, like, I just feel like that's I don't know. Like, I understand.
I mean, you wanted to cover the story. We're covering the story.
No,
like, we're covering the story.
I know.
I'm
not being.
Because you think it's important. I disagree. I think all of this is unimportant in terms of, like, outside of the interest of, like, observing, like, media figures and how they influence politics, and, like, the relationship between you know, the monetary incentives that we set up under not just capitalism, but under, like, the content creator whole thing. There are whole channels that are built around just writing and videographing bad movie reviews to drive clicks. What's that one fucker? He's like one of the largest movie review channels, and he's just some dipshit who offers absolutely no analysis, absolutely no real critique, and never says anything halfway interesting. But he gives people an outlet for the things that they hate. He gives people an outlet for their frustration. So he says everything's woke and everything's this, and like, you know, bitches about women all the time, fucking virgin probably. But it's like we have created the same way our mainstream media is rotten to its core because of the connections to capital and the connections to so few owners of capital. Like, the problem with, like, CNN, Fox News, and all the rest of these stations, ABC, NBC, all the rest of them, CBS, whatever, is that they're all controlled by a very small group of people who have a very specific set of interests. What we have on YouTube and what we have on TikTok and what we have on all these other platforms that are creator run are small little incentive structures, because everyone's trying to get their little piece, they're as big of a piece of the pie as they can. But the only way you do that is through views. And if you come on whatever show you want to run, if you come on a politics centered show, you can run a news show that's, like, educational, that goes over the news, that, you offer some commentary, some analysis, all the rest of that stuff. But ask any channel, you got to do the slop. You just have to. You have to cover the slop, and this to me is slop. This is the all the Candace stuff is slop. All the speculation on the Kurt stuff is slop. We have a jury. We have trials. We have a system to determine all this shit. It is not for the public to constantly speculate. This wasn't a thing for hundreds for most of our history. Only in the last 20 years is suddenly all of this legal shit and all of this investigatory this and that and true crime and all that. This is a very new phenomenon that the public just gets access to all of this information and gets to pick apart all of our little systems and all the little
think that
intricacies. And I'm not saying that's bad.
Can I
Let me be clear
actually,
on a value statement.
I was going to say
I'm basically done. I'm basically done.
Okay, go ahead.
My issue is people don't produce. I'm going to use true crime content as an example. People don't produce true crime content for free and simply because they love it. There is eventually a monetary incentive to continue to produce that content, to continue to mine as much new information, even if it changes the story not 1%. If you can make a video that has a little update and you can turn 1% into 5%, buddy, you just turned $100 into 5. And that's what every creator on this platform is doing. That is what we do. Let's be clear. That is what we do as well. We are not exempt from this. There is a reason why I am a lot more, what's the word? I am a lot more bombastic and a little bit more animated. And it's because at the end of the day, as much as I and I've done it before on here, I've offered analysis, I've been calm, but eventually, we got to perform. And Candace is performing and she knows how to do that. She has a history of doing so. She's been a content creator for over 10 years. She knows how to play the game. And when we mistakenly give people the impression that we should be treating people like Candace or others differently, suddenly, they've got all the answers and they've got all the inside scoops and they really know what's going on and they've done all the research, when none of them have any kind of backgrounds, it makes us irresponsible with the information that we share with our audience, and it makes our audience less informed and more skeptical, which isn't always bad, but it's also not always good to just be raw skeptical of everything. You need to know when to flip the switch. You can't just always be skeptical of the government. You can't always just be skeptical of this narrative, because then it just comes down to what doesn't feel good to you. And it goes back to the Plattner stuff. Does the Plattner stuff feel good to me? No, it does not. But I have to accept that, unfortunately, reality is reality. And as much as it's inconvenient, as much as I don't like it, as much as everything else, reality is reality. And we can pick apart why we can pick apart why the woman, whatever her name is, didn't go to police. We can pick apart every little detail. Was he in the room? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Facts are the facts. And we have to live with those. We have to react to them properly. Now ask your question.
I don't even remember what it was. Oh, sorry. You want to say hi, Bubba? Say hello. Say hello. Okay. No. Apparently not. He just came in here to run and yell at us for a second. Yeah, I understand that, and I appreciate what you're saying and everything. I just I guess let me put it this way. I try to give I try to play the devil's advocate on my own position a lot. And I will let let you steamroll some of the things that I say. But I would appreciate if you would play a little bit of the devil's advocate in the sense of just like,
what? So can I ask why? Why would I do that? Why would I take up a position I don't believe in?
Because it at least allows you to understand the opposition from their point of view, and it sort of like this is I think me and you have this conversation.
I'm fully capable of understanding. So.
Well,
I don't
understand
think that's
that,
true.
but I don't think you entertain. Like, yes, I think you are able to understand it. Like, I don't think that's what I'm getting at. Like, you're incapable of you know what I mean? That's not my point. Is I don't think you find it necessary to entertain the ideas of something you don't believe in. Which I understand. But I think is necessary to truly, like.
Aren't you making the presumption that I haven't already, come to some kind of analysis? Because what you're baking into that is that I haven't already assessed what I'm hearing and already come to a determination on it.
No, I guess you're right. Maybe the way I framed it was probably wrong. But what I'm getting at is like, so for example, when I'm giving you certain things, you sort of kind of immediately just shut it down because it's from a specific source, or because it's from whatever, like there's a certain prejudice.
I mean, there's such
that
thing
happens.
as irreputable sources.
Yeah, my point is,
there just are.
You're right, but my point is, you still should entertain those, and then
why would I do that?
Even if
why would I entertain
even
dishonesty?
if you're right at the end, at least then you are more informed. Because it's the same conversation we had at the beginning of this. It's like I may not need that information, but I need.
How am I being more informed by untrue facts?
But you can't tell if they're untrue or not. So just like how you said to
me
many times that like I can't make a judgment.
Says the sky's like yellow, I'm like, no, the sky's blue. And
yeah, but
they're like, no,
again,
I think it's yellow. It's not like I need to entertain that.
You're locking in. You're locking in, dude. You're locking into the position. That's what I'm saying. So like I just need you.
No. I'm locking into like what's true.
But I'm saying you have to entertain certain things, because there is a reality that
I don't know where you get this idea that we need to entertain things that are incorrect to understand them.
No, they're not incorrect. They're not incorrect. I'm saying if they're incorrect, I'm not saying that you should entertain them. That's not my point. If they're incorrect, you should entertain them. But what I'm saying is, when you make the presumption that something is like, so for example, you make a character presumption. Character presumptions are not like factual presumptions. Those are character presumptions that you're making an assumption upon someone's character.
Okay, so can you?
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
can you use an example?
I'm saying that, like, so for example, you know that, like, I don't know, let's say, like, okay, Graham Plattner is a great example. So he has these political views. We have a political assumption of who he is. We've gone to bat for him for this, that, and the other. And then there's the political assumption or the internal assumption that he is a certain way. And then so you address facts coming in based on that assumption, right? And it's the same thing that we do with Candace.
No, that's not an assumption. I've never made an assumption on Graham Plattner's character. I would not characterize anything that I've said based on an assumption. It is based on the the positions that he holds. If we put up the positions that he holds versus his Nazi tattoo as an example, that's something where I go, okay, well, let's hear the explanation for why you got that tattoo. And the question is, the question one needs to make then is, like, if you hear the story of how he got the tattoo and you look at his positions now And you also weigh that with, he has been on Reddit, he has been on the internet, on public forums, like, what's the word? You know, advocating for the things that he is advocating in his campaign, then that tells me, yeah, the tattoo's not great. It's, you know, I tend, like, especially if it's before that time in which we have his writing, then I go like, he's kind of a fucking chud and an idiot, but, you know, can kind of be accepting of some idiocy, but if you grew out of that idiocy.
But my
the
point
reason
is,
why,
you don't give that same
know,
grace to anyone else.
What do you mean?
Like, you don't give the
like,
grace of growth.
What? Who?
Like, let's say Tucker Carlson, for example, or Buckley Carlson,
Dude, Tucker Carlson has been on television almost our entire lives.
Yeah.
Why are we starting the timeline?
No, I'm not starting the timeline.
In like the last year and a half, the last 2 years, because I've been aware of Tucker Carlson and seen him speak and seen him engage and everything else for over a decade. I have more than enough evidence of what his politics are and how he moves in the world.
But he has evolved just like other people. Like, we can say that...
Really, he has evolved. He's evolved in the last couple of years, because he has evolved for how many different times? He evolved from being the little bow tie man who was a libertarian. Then he evolved into a what's the word? Then he evolved into like what's that guy? Then he evolved into like one of O'Reilly's little minion guys. Then he evolved into a populist. Then he evolved into a Russia guy. Then he's evolved like 8 different fucking times. He is a fucking chameleon.
But that's sort of kind of my thing though, man. Is like I sort of kind of feel like the whole oh, I'm sorry, you froze. Hold on. I don't want to lose him. Oh no. We might have lost Josh. Oh no. This was a good conversation. We were having a good conversation. Josh, are you back?
I am.
Okay.
I believe I am. Did I leave?
Yeah, you left for probably the last, I don't know, 15 seconds?
20 seconds. What's the last thing I said?
Shit. Talking about how evolved, like Tucker Carlson evolved.
Yeah, okay. Tucker Carlson has evolved into like 8 different kinds of popular, like 8 different, there are so many, there are multiple different versions of fucking Tucker Carlson. You have the little bow tie man. You have the Bill O'Reilly minion guy. You have the populist nationalist. You have the kind of like white nationalist, kind of leaning toward doing the
that's what he's doing now.
The great replacement stuff.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, you say I'm being presumptive, and I'm not. And the reason why I get frustrated is because you pretend like I'm not aware of who these people are, and that I haven't been engaged with all of them.
I hope that's not what it's like. I'm trying to.
It's either that. Either one of two things. Either you think I haven't engaged with them enough, or you just like what they're saying now, and you like what they are giving you in terms of rhetoric, in terms of analysis, because you already, in my opinion, it would be you are looking for someone to reflect your politics back to you. But Tucker Carlson isn't analyzing very much. I haven't watched the show in a while, and I'm if you want to watch
a very
stuff,
large percentage that I disagree with. Like I'm not a Christian nationalist. I'm not a Christian. I'm not very right on very many economic policies when it comes. I mean, I am economically, fiscally conservative when it comes to, I don't think that we should outspend our debt. You know what I mean? But like that's not really here or there. That's
do
like
you
a
think
different.
Tucker Carlson cares if we outspend our debt?
Yeah, I do.
And why? What incentives does he have to care about that sort of thing?
Because I think he's an authentic Christian. Not that I care about
Christianity. What does that have to do with balancing the debt?
Because I believe that he does think that the like actual like the reason that we have a government is to take care of the poor, and to give them.
Why
like,
why does he believe that?
Well, he talks about often the idea of like he doesn't believe in welfare in the sense of like having welfare of the state that you or I would necessarily believe in. But his example would be, for example, like creating jobs, creating ways in which people can create wealth for themselves through government programs.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily saying, because that's the thing is like, I think.
So how does that line up with Christian doctrine of taking care of the poor?
Because Christian doctrine would be like you teach a man to fish, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
That's not Christian doctrine. As somebody who went to Catholic school, I can tell you right now, they're very strict. Like if we're talking Christianity, if we're talking Christ followers, there's some pretty like obvious and frankly,
very socialist.
A lot of them are very socialist and very left-leaning.
And Christian Tucker Carlson would admit a lot of that. He believes in a lot of those things. Like you can catch
is he voting for left-leaning candidates who support socialism?
He's not.
No, he's not because he's an ideologue.
But again,
and because he doesn't actually believe in those things.
But I don't want to.
He is a rich son, and he's been a rich son his entire life. Fuck, does he care about the poor for?
But okay. Can I make a weird interjection, maybe a little bit?
Sure.
That
make whatever weird or not weird interjection you want.
So we're gonna go off into a whole other tangent real quick, and I don't want to make this super long because I sort of kind of gotta get off in a second. But I did want to address this a little bit because I think we've had this sort of kind of conversation in the past. I've thought about this, that how do I explain this? I'm sorry. Let me get my thoughts together real quick. It's that. Yeah, baby. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Wow. They both have 3 amigos. What time is it? I have a notification. What is this? General discussion. What? Why am I getting? Okay, whatever. Da 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 da. You know, I just realized I never even brought up chat, so I have no idea if folks are even in chat. Hopefully no one is.
Okay.
Hopefully no one's been like typing in chat a whole bunch. And I just haven't been. Okay, cool. Now we're good. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah, I was making sure.
But yeah, no, I guess my whole thing is not even my whole thing, but
I'll put this down here.
There's just I think there's a level of hate that I sort of kind of try to, I don't know, break through a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like there, in my opinion, there is things on both sides that both sides get right. There is a lot of things on both sides that both sides get wrong. And I, as a person, just try and sort of kind of address those things individually without any kind of personal, I don't know, like, I don't care who you are. I don't care about your past. I care about the argument you're making and whether or not it makes sense or has relevance.
But how do you then how do you differentiate between like anything then? Anybody like with that worldview, anybody can say anything and you'll take it at face value.
No, it's not that I think I address the argument in and of itself.
But
so it's not addressing
who's making the
person.
argument is important though. Do you not think that's important?
No.
What? How?
Like, I think that, for example, if it's a electoral person who I'm voting into office, it matters. If they're in control of the destiny of the future or something, then yes. But if it is just
care, but you don't care about the people who disseminate information and who like distribute propaganda.
I propaganda can be right or wrong.
I'm aware. That's why I use the term.
So that's
and there
my
are people
point.
who but there are people who are responsible and who educate, and there are people who don't do those things and who stir political resentment and stir.
But that has nothing to do with the argument itself.
What do you mean? What argument? What do you mean?
In any given situation, I'm not making any particular argument in anything like that. I'm saying that as an individual, if you are, let's say you're a right wing,
how do you tell if someone's being
or
dishonest?
a left wing populist?
Is
right?
there no such thing as a dishonest actor?
There's dishonest actors, but that doesn't mean they don't make good arguments and or tell the truth. Like there
Do you know what a dog whistle is?
Yeah, of course. But that again.
Okay, so that's using the ambiguity of language to communicate, communicate specific positions without having to act without being with being able to avoid the normal communicative methods that we use. Like, how do you?
You're basically making the equation of I can say, for example, like black crime was up and equate that to black racism, right? Like that's
I think it's
because that's what the dog whistle thing is. And I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are truths in arguments that you are allowed to accept and act on. But that doesn't mean that is the necessarily whole truth, and you should, as a person or as a voter, be able to actually equate whether or not that truth is the whole truth or a piece of the truth. And that is, and for example, like you can say, for example, hold on, for example, like a black crime records or whatever, right? It's just like, yeah, technically they have more crime, but it's because it's again, redlining, it's a lot of other things that cause those problems.
There's socioeconomics attached to it, yes.
So disallowing that one little bit of truth for the sake of the greater argument is not beneficial in my opinion. Like, I do think that you should have the whole truth. I don't think I
understand a word you're saying at this point. This doesn't make any sense to me.
I guess
this, I'm not following.
Let me put it to you this way. I think the best way to explain it is actually through the Graham Plattner thing today. Hold on.
Yeah.
So I actually think this is sort of kind of relates to the Graham Plattner thing today. So I don't necessarily think that the truth is changed by the fact that there was this other message that, you know what I mean, happened or whatever. but I do think it informs the whole truth of what happened. And it allows people to be more informed on their actual understanding of a situation. So, for example, like
how is anybody helped in that situation? What's the material
again,
difference?
maybe again, that is probably the worst possible example. It's just the first one that came to mind because of today. But
I mean, Tucker Carlson has pushed like white replacement stuff. Like he is somebody who's comfortable with quoting, the 1350 statistic for black crime. Does that not undermine like further arguments from him, or is it just like,
no?
He's just citing what he has available.
Yeah, I would say citing available evidence is not necessarily detrimental to your future like arguments. Like if it's evidence, it is evidence. I'm not saying that necessarily.
But you're making okay. But race science is all based on evidence. It's just, it's all about how you connect the dots. And
that's true. That's true.
There are people who measured the skulls of fucking
and
random groups and was
but the truth of that ends up becoming that obviously that's not true. So it's the light of the truth allows.
Would you take a race scientist? Would you field an argument from a race scientist about I don't know, how we distribute, not Medicare. What am I thinking? Welfare, welfare funds. Like, if a race scientist comes up and is like, I have some opinions on how we should distribute the
opinions is
the
different
welfare
than
funds. Do we bother with that person just because they say like, well, if you look, the Negro skull is, so big, can we really afford to, or whatever the fuck, can we really afford to pay for all these people who are, functioning at a lower level than the white man? Like, no, I'm not going to give that person, I'm not going to devil's advocate them. I'm not going to take time to,
that's fair. That's fair.
Consider their argument. I've made an analysis. They're fucking race scientists.
Yeah,
fuck
no, that's
them.
fair.
And their science is bullshit. But it is no different. It is no different than my position on Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has revealed himself multiple times to be somebody who is chasing the dollar, somebody who is willing to sell his positions. There's quotes and I think recordings of him saying like, whatever Rupert Murdoch tells me to say, that's what I say on air. Like, there's a reason why his show, if you watch his show, and I think you said you do.
Oh yeah.
What does his set look like? His set looks like a woodworking shop.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually believe that guy is a woodworker? Or do you, or is that a woodworking set made to make him look like the working class, advocate that he says he is, even though he not once has had to work a day in his life? He is the heir to the Swanson fucking TV dinner empire, whatever the fuck.
Well, to be fair, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying, but I will say that
nothing
that is his house.
Untrue.
That is his house. So
I'm sure it's the studio in his house.
But that is like how he lives.
Studio in his house.
I don't disagree with you.
What do you mean? Wait. Okay, so this is the problem we're running into again. How do you know that's how he lives? Have you been spying on him?
Well, then,
or is that what he shows you as marketing to his brand? Tucker Carlson's
I
brand.
understand what you're getting at, but I just feel like that's sort of kind of one of those things where
who likes woodworking.
I understand what you're getting at.
I mean, I guess he's.
I feel like that
Christian.
negates basically every. Well, you know what? Okay.
A lot of right-wing commentators, yes.
No. I think a lot of every commentator.
No, because that's bullshit. Because you can't point me to that many that are like, so blatantly grifting on their positions.
But I think a little bit of that is almost
but this is
hold on.
But this is the problem. This is the problem
for 1 second, because I have a different
entire problem. This is the entire problem.
Hold on, just 2 seconds. I apologize. I I do think that there is a little bit of like a, because you've said this to me in the past, where you're like, why do you just listen to chuds, right? And
That's a valid question.
I mean, you've asked me that, and I don't think it necessarily has to do with like an environment for a person's argument. Like, I don't care about where you talk about it or what set you talk about it on. It doesn't have any effect on the argument that you're making.
Do you think you do because that's what you're comfortable with?
No.
That's the environment.
No, because I've watched stuff on the left and the right. I have no problem with any environment.
No,
I
you
care
don't.
about the
no,
argument.
you don't. You've never brought me a you've not brought me a Majority Report video before. You've not brought me a Matt Bernstein video before.
It's not like I don't watch those shows. I just don't bring them to you because I sort of kind of know you already know those things.
Okay, what left-wing shows do you watch?
I mean, I've watched, what's it called?
You've watched, okay, no. Be honest. Be honest. What do you consume more? More right-wing independent media or more left-wing independent media?
I watch a lot of TYT. I watch a lot of, I mean, I don't like Midas
and they've been
Touch.
pivoting to the right.
I don't like Midas Touch because Midas, I feel like
Midas is somewhere.
They're
like
super
center,
left. They're like,
center,
well, they're more establishment left. That's what they are. I watch Hassan Piker a lot. I watch what's the
do you watch all of these, like, you know, more or less than Candace or Tucker as two examples?
I have like a running list of things, so like I whatever comes up that day. So
also watching Haas does not protect you from the Chud allegations. You're not dodging the allegations on that one, my friend.
That's fair. But also that's a little bit of just like the media sphere.
He's a big motherfucker though.
But that's also like the media sphere. Like the media sphere isn't there's just not that many people who are chuds.
They're out there.
Sort of kind of.
I mean, there's a lot of chuds on the internet. There's
the Dre dossier, the Dre lady that I sent you at one point. She's like a super lefty, anti government. Like
she's a chud. I'm gonna use my here. This time I will be presumptive. She's a chud.
No, she's
she
super
doesn't look
lefty.
Like it. Deep down, she's trans and a chud.
No, she's super lefty.
I don't think so. If you're going on, what was that guy's name?
She goes on Trump and his entire administration, her entire show.
Anything. Trump's unpopular.
But no, it has nothing to do with she's gone on Doge.
Not exactly brave.
She's never been a fan of Doge. She's never been a fan of the Trump presidency. She's never been a fan of any of the right-wing populist stuff.
None of that means that you're left-leaning.
I'm saying that she is genuinely like a left-leaning like content creator.
I'll be honest. I don't really think you're informed enough to like gauge that.
Okay. How about this?
In terms of plugged into the politics.
Could you give me a list of?
Let me go look.
List of people who you would find acceptable. Because I feel like this is sort of kind of that's what it comes down to a lot of the time is like I accept a lot of the arguments that you make, but I feel like you accept none of the arguments I make.
Well, yeah, that's I have no problem with that. I'm pretty staunch and confident in my positions.
But I feel like that's not a conversation then.
Sometimes.
I mean,
I'll be honest, I'm not looking for I don't do this to have like a conversation. I think that's also the difference between you and I.
Yeah,
this
I do this to actually filter out the ideas. I like to entertain the ideas and like get through them and like have like an intelligent conversation about the concept, not necessarily about my position.
But you can't even tell who's a grifter or not. You can't even tell that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, two of the largest and longest running right-wing commentators, are fucking grifters. You've made it all this way and you haven't, and that piece of knowledge has not hit you yet, which I think is like undermines a lot of your points. Like I don't think that's hard. Like it's, if you want to say like, look, I think on these micro issues, there are things they say, or there are positions they hold, or positions that they take up that can be utilized and that could be good. But like the idea that you're like, that's Tucker Carlson's house. No, he lives in a woodworking shop. Candace Owens was best friends with Charlie Kirk. All of that isn't analysis, and all of that is just that you're just doing like blind propaganda for larger channels. I'm not looking to do that. When I come on here and when I engage, and it was the same way with my channel, RIP. But it's always been the same. I want to educate and I want to offer analysis to people who are looking for an answer as to why things are the way they are. Tucker Carlson does not say that he wants, closed borders. I don't know what his position these days are on, on the border stuff. I presume that it's probably he wants closed borders, not because he wants, white people to live in a harmonious, homogenous state, or that, he wants the best for the working people. Tucker Carlson is somebody who has a history of pushing white replacement theory and has a history of forwarding white nationalist talking points. What Tucker Carlson is looking for is just a little bit of white nationalism, just a little bit of white supremacy. Not enough to, sound the alarms, but enough to get himself an audience and enough to seed some of those talking points into the party. And then maybe 10, maybe 20 years down the road, or, depending on how 28 looks, then maybe he can run for president. Then he's really got a way to make some money, because then he can do what Trump's doing, but, just maybe with a little bit more covered this time, because he's certainly smarter than Trump is. That's the one thing I will say. Tucker is a hell of a lot smarter than Trump. He would know how to be corrupt in a smart way, whereas Trump, unfortunately, is not very good at being corrupt in a smart way. Dude kind of goes out there and just is like, corruption everywhere. Let's go. Woo.
Yeah.
What was I looking up? Dre dossier? Oh, fuck. Okay, there we go. All right, let's take a look. 50 secret government websites. Genesis mission. Okay. Actually, this is perfect. I'm glad that you brought this up. I'm glad you brought me this person, because I'm going to use this as a good example, as an example of media consumption. So scrolling through this, and I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to scroll forever. But I want to look at some of these. We're not going to watch any of them, but I want to kind of get a little
Sorry,
little
give me
taste,
1 second.
right?
Let me pull it up real quick. There we go.
Can you can see my screen? Or is my screen up for everybody else? I don't know.
Give me 2 seconds.
It doesn't necessarily need to be. It's totally fine.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. So we've got we've got one that's about the reflecting pool and the contract and all the rest of the stuff, right? Okay. We got some Elon Musk surgery center thing. Cool. We got a passport, the government website passport thing, whatever the fuck. Cool. We got a government websites. I think you covered this with me, which is all right. We got whatever the fuck this is with somebody in Beijing. It looks like American something or other. We have underground medical facility thing. We have 110 billion foreign funded media. Okay, don't disagree with that. And we have more ballroom stuff. And if I scroll, I really hope I don't see another ballroom video. Really don't want to. Okay, we'll do one more pass. This is more media stuff, kind of the same thing. Let's see. We got Ellison stuff. Let's see, some Iran stuff. Data, military, yada, yada, yada. Okay.
Well, her whole channel is literally about data consumption and where your tax dollars go as is it concerns to data centers, information, and data collection. Her entire
Yes.
channel is based on data collection.
Okay, cool, excellent. Like, none of this I have a necessary problem with. Most of this I'm just gonna accept that all of this is factual. It's all whatever, right? So here's the question I have to ask. If I am watching this gal's content, what am I learning, and how am I learning why these things are happening? What she is covering is the what is happening, which is important. Like, the fact that we have a bunch of government websites, that there's a bunch of brain surgery stuff going on, that the reflecting pool stuff is stupid and like kind of weird in terms of the finances. The what of this, all well and good. I got no problem with any of this as far as I can tell. I'm not digging deep into it, but assuming all of it's up to snuff, looks fine. The question and the reason why, the thing that I care about and what I am interested in is not, let's talk about the what and the rigmarole of it seems like there's an underground medical facility or something, or that there is a new passport website, or that there are 50 White House websites. None of what I want to educate and what I want to instill upon people is the why. Why is this happening? What are the okay, I guess it closed it for me. It's the why. To me, what is more important is the why and how we explain to people. Because again, we are on here and I want someone to scroll past us, and when they leave, have a better understanding of why there are whatever we talk about, why it's happening. Not just that these things are happening, because one of them is passive. We can't do anything about this thing happen. We can't do anything about that. There's fuck all we can do about it. It already happened. We didn't stop it. What we can do is educate ourselves on the why something happened, so that we can better shield ourselves from it for the next time, so we can educate properly. And I think it's important, and it's important to me to educate people. So yes, I know it's mean to say I don't care about the conversation, because just talking about the stuff is all well and good, but I want to get down to why is this happening? Why are why are people poor? Why can no one pay for their health care? And none of that has to do, none of it is going to come back to, the reflecting pool, because the reflecting pool is just an example of the institutional and capitalist rot at the center of our politics and at the center of the powers that run this country. And her Ellison video probably touches on that, because you can't avoid the I guess kind of why with that. But, I don't know if she talks about what his motivations are, but that guy's a fucking Zionist. He's not buying up CNN, CBS, and the rest of these corporations for nothing. He's doing so. And I think he might also be an evangelical. I'm not 100% sure what his religious stuff is. I know he's in that crop of evangelical Zionist stew. But if he's an evangelical, he's looking for the rapture. He's trying to manifest the fucking rapture on the rest of ours dimes. And understanding that is important, I think. And Tucker Carlson has been a mouthpiece for the evangelical movement in the past. So when he comes on his show and pretends like he's not that guy,
no, he said that he was, and that he finds that is obviously wrong now, because he's now more informed.
Sure. Okay. So here's the question. How did a guy who has, again, been rich, wildly wealthy his entire life, only hear about any of that in the year of our Lord 2024, when I think he started his new show? Yeah, and also, if this epiphany is when he starts his new show
prior to October 7th, and he was for the Israeli cause prior to October 7th, and then after more and more of the obvious war crimes came out, then he started questioning his resolve just like Charlie Kirk and just like a lot of these other people have done.
So
I'm not necessarily saying that that's that you're wrong. I'm just saying that it's not.
So why did he ignore this beforehand? Why was this never something that he was
I think the same way that a lot of us ignored this before October 7th. Like, all of us knew that the settlements were happening, that we knew that that Gaza was happening, especially on the left. We all knew that this was...
I wasn't super aware of all of this.
Oh, well, I was aware.
I'm not saying I was completely blind to it.
Well, but
this was
that's
not
also
a
because
daily
I knew about the
conversation
stuff that was happening in Yemen under Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was aware of all the casualties that we were inflicting on the Yemenis people under Obama.
So why does Tucker care? Okay, so why does Tucker Carlson only care now then? What, like this info? Like they've been.
I think
they
it
have
is
been
personal.
oppressing that. They have been oppressing that society
for 70 years.
For all of me
70
and
years.
you
70 years.
and Tucker Carlson's life, right?
70 years. Yes.
Okay. So Tucker Carlson, somebody who is was the top broadcaster at Fox News, didn't get that information, didn't know about what was happening in Gaza in relation to Israel. He didn't know that for the last.
I think that we're making a lot of
years?
assumptions in that, in the sense that
We are not. I'm not making an assumption. I'm asking, is it reasonable to believe that somebody who has access to all possible information on a topic somehow only got to that information?
Well, think about it this
at a
way.
time
we
when
know that the people who are
the topic
on the
was
desk
becoming the most visible it had ever begun.
Yeah.
And it was obvious.
No, that's true.
It was
I get what you're
obvious
getting at.
very early on that the tide had turned.
Yeah.
That once normie Americans got to see what was happening, because this didn't go from like an 80-20 issue pro-Israel down to a 20-80 issue.
Because I just want to make this very clear that I've been anti-Zionist.
It
I
switched.
just want to
fine.
real quick. I just
But
want
Tucker
to
Carlson
make it
hasn't.
clear.
But Tucker Carlson hasn't.
No, I know.
And he's
agree
had
with
more
you.
information than you and I.
That is
and he's
true.
seen it. He's well aware of this.
That is true.
Only once people like you and I think normies were like, oh, I'm not okay with this, did Tucker Carlson feel safe enough to go, yeah, I'm actually not too.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Yeah.
And with that information, and that's not the first, that's not the only topic he's done that for. He's done that for tons of other ones. At his heart, he has there's some ideology he subscribes to, and I think he's signposted it a little bit before. I don't know what that is. I can't look into his fucking heart, but I can take a couple
he's
guesses.
definitely even prior to October 7th been moving toward the position that he's no longer anti-Muslim.
Well, that's very nice of him.
I mean, that's just, that is just, I don't give him his laurels or anything. I don't think he's like doing great, the Lord's work, because he's doing better at it. But there has been a noticeable difference prior to October 7th of him being more accepting of this point of view. And I don't think it is...
Why don't you finish your sentence? My question is probably going to be the same.
I was going to say I don't think it is I can't find the word, like not relevant that he had started to make that change prior to but again, in your argument, it would probably make sense that, well, he knows more than us, so he knows where the tides are shifting, so he needs to go ahead and make that assertion before it happens.
Tucker Carlson could have been a leader on the position,
yeah.
on his position at any point,
Yeah.
but Tucker Carlson has never led on a position. Tucker Carlson has waited,
he is
like
these
a
days,
lot of
though.
people, such as give me a position.
Complete like disintegration of our society from Israel's.
that he's not a leader on that. He's
a leading voice within the right at the moment.
But that's not what I asked. I asked what position is he a leader on?
Leader meaning what? Meaning that
meaning like
he imposed that into the party, or
no,
leading that he is a person who's
Bernie
forcing
Sanders was a
that
leader
into
for
the
gay
party.
rights in the 1980s.
Yeah,
because Bernie Sanders was advocating
Tucker
for gay
Carlson
rights
is
at
the
a
same
time
thing.
when it was
Tucker
unpopular.
Carlson's the same thing. He may not
For
have been
what?
the
For what
first person to like say that it needed to be done, but he's a leading force in talking to.
No, that's not the
like,
same thing. Then
party...
that's not the same thing.
Okay, well then we're talking about different
no.
things.
You are either first or you're not. If
okay,
you
well
got
then
in
if that's
after
your
the
if
wave,
that's your position, then
that's not a
fair
leader.
enough. Then yeah, if
like
that's your position,
Barack
then fair
Obama.
enough. So who would
Barack
be the
Obama was
leading
in favor
position
of
on this?
gay marriage.
Who would be the
On
leading
what?
position on separating from Israel from the United States?
On the right, I don't
On
fucking
any
know. I don't know
any
who they're-
position,
What do you mean on any
left
position?
or right?
Like for what? I mean, Bernie
separating
Sanders, Medicare
America
for
from
all.
the separating America from the Israeli state as far as aid and everything else, like completely separating us. Is there another person within the media who's saying that?
Rashida Tlaib. Oh, do you want media figures or do you want like?
Sure, Congress is
like
fine.
what are we
Or
talking? Like
Congress or within.
I mean, I would
government.
say Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, two people who Tucker Carlson
Sounds
has had
good.
no problem attacking in the past.
All right, but he also agrees with him on this. Like he has said they agree, and he's like, hey, I don't like them on a lot of the stuff, but they're right on this. So if your position is that it's the first person who makes that decision, then fair enough.
Well, my argument
I
is
don't
that
have a
Tucker
problem
Carlson is
making
not-
that you know what I mean, concession. If you're,
I mean, you have to. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some risk, right? Like it's like you can't be a leader.
but he's
if
the
it's
first
like
person
you
on
waited
the right.
until the crowd.
But he's first person on the right, right? Like
Not really.
name
I
another
mean,
other than Thomas Massey.
I mean, Candace is a big.
But
I
he
mean,
was
she's been an
before.
anti-Semite
Well,
for a
actually, you
while.
know what? That's true. She was way before him.
Yeah, but I mean,
she immediately was like,
her,
Fuck this.
yeah. Well, yeah, but her issue has always been with like Jews. So like she's always been an anti-Semite.
Well, I
It's not
disagree
really
with that, but we won't get into that tonight. You know what
I mean, she said, you know, she's done the whole.
We're not
like,
gonna
you
do
know,
it today. We're not gonna do it today, Josh. We're not.
No,
gonna do
I
it
mean
today.
I mean she is. I mean she's.
I
said,
disagree.
Like,
I
incredibly
disagree.
anti-Semitic.
I disagree.
Well, no, you're misinformed. You're uninformed.
You can say that.
I'm not gonna.
You can say that.
Yeah,
We're-
yeah, I will. 'Cause,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it with you. I don't think she's an anti-Semite, and I don't.
I mean, if you
I
weren't
don't-
there for the Kanye era, then you know I don't know what to tell you.
I was there. I don't think Kanye is
And
an
all the-
anti-Semite either.
And all the. Well, I think Kanye has fucking brainworms, but the
I don't think he
person
has
who was egging
brainworms
him
either.
on-
I think he's the same thing as Michael Jackson, where they tried to take all his albums and then call him an anti-Semite for asking for his property back.
Okay. And
That's just what that is.
yeah, but I don't think there's really like a history of.
He blames
Jackson
Jews
saying
because those were the
anti-Semitic stuff.
people who owned his music. So that just
Sure, but
is
we can
what it is.
contextualize that. Kanye was not in that.
Oh, he did.
Kanye was not like.
No, you're
was
right.
not
He
like,
was
"No,
a
the
savage about it, but he
my
definitely
dude,
said
my
the thing.
dude made a Hail Hitler song. You're not getting away from. You're not like. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like that's explained
That
by
was
either
rough. That was rough.
anti-Semitism.
You can't be praising
or
Hitler.
brain disease or what does he have?
You can't-
Bipolar disorder. Like those are your two explanations for that.
Yeah, they did the
That
same
unfortunately
thing to
for
Britney.
him, that's kind of all you get for that one.
They did the
Is
same
it's
thing
like,
to
there's only-
all of the stars though who went against like. Never mind. We're not going to get into this.
Sure,
story.
but not all of
We're-
them made
we're-
Hail Hitler songs.
We're not. Doing
That's
this.
kind of
Okay,
that.
Josh.
That's
I
kind
love
of
you.
that's kind of the line. If you make a Heil Hitler song and be all like, "I'm going DEFCON on the Jews," then I'm like, well, that's a little different than like,
agreed.
You know,
agreed. It's a little.
I'm pretty
bit.
I'm
It's
pretty
a
upset.
little- Yeah. Yeah.
But also, you can make a artist get screwed over by the labels all the time argument without making it anti-Semitic. It's literally just capitalism. But if you have no problem with capitalism because you are Candace Owens, somebody who has always been a dog for capitalism, then you know you're gonna say the Jews because that's a lot easier. Like
Yeah.
capitalism explains more the like unfortunate nature of our music industries.
Josh, I love you. I love you.
That doesn't get you a lot of pull on the right wing, now does it?
I gotta get off.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
Love you too, bud.
But this was a good conversation. We'll continue this. We'll continue this as we keep going through the trial and everything else. Anyway, have a good rest of your night, guys. Thank you for stopping in. Me and Josh had a fun conversation tonight. I think we had fun. Got a little bit heated, but that's okay.
I have fun. I have whatever like I've told people before. I have whatever whatever brain brokenness that makes people enjoy. Oh, that's what that is.
Arguments.
Enjoy conflict and debate.
No, I'm right there with you. You know, I don't have a problem with it. I love you, man. I have no, we get to the end of these conversations and we do this whole argument thing, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, that's the homie. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to make that clear to everybody. Like, this is, like, we are friends, and because we're comfortable, we get heated with each other. Yeah. But, like, at no point do we, I have my goal of educating and everything else that I said, and Cody has his goal of wanting to engage in this stuff. And it's like,
that genuinely is the whole thing. Is you do have a very much more set agenda as far as what it is that you truly believe, and you have a set belief system, and I have no problem with that. I just enjoy challenging it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I enjoy just being the devil's advocate, and as you've heard many times throughout the conversation, he's like, what the fuck do you mean be a devil's advocate? So it's fine.
I like taking positions and holding them. I'm not yeah,
it's fun. I enjoy it. But anyway, all right, well, have a good rest of your night, guys. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See y'all later.